morning. Happy Thursday, everybody, wherever you are, however you may be listening. Thanks for making us part of your day. And who said that? Who said Dope Crew said best intro song around? Shout out Biter. Biter, if you're here, or Cam. I don't know what your name is on YouTube, but Biter made that intro for me. And that is the thing that I get complimented on the most, which is devastating, is how is my intro song. And I had absolutely nothing to do with the intro song. So that is cool, but also hurts my feelings and makes me feel like you guys don't think I'm cool at all. Let me move this a little bit, center that. Boom, there we go. No TikTok today, so congratulations. We don't have to deal with any TikTokers today, and I can say all the words that I want to without getting in trouble. Wanted to shout out Damien yesterday, who sent Dollar Train after we finished. So, Damien, if you're here or if you're listening on a delay, which I know you are a lot of the times, thank you. Appreciate you joining the Dollar Train. Reminder, we are crowdfunded here, and so if you want to help us out with accomplishing our gift goals every day, that's what we use to keep the lights on and keep the show running. We can get that started right now. Had a great members only event last night. We watched Snowden. I don't know if Ivory's here. It was hilarious. She does not like Ed Snowden as a dating partner, which makes sense. I don't think it's always a great idea to start a relationship with somebody in the NSA. It might be kind of difficult, but we enjoyed that, and thanks for all our members for showing up. And for those who didn't show up, thank you so much for being members. And you can become a paid member by joining on YouTube, TikTok, or Twitch. That gives you special access to the Discord, to the members-only events. Gives you some cool emoji options on Twitch, at least. I don't know. Does that give you emoji options on YouTube, Jen?
Yeah, I think we have some emojis. I probably need to update them. I need to double check. But yeah, there are some. So.
We love you, Peepaw, but cool isn't exactly the word we'd use to describe you. Yeah, I've slowly come to that realization. There was a time I was like, man, people must really think I'm cool. And after a while, I realized, nah, I think they just like me because I read the news and they can mock me at the same time. I think that all of the people that tune in regularly to the show do so to get news and make fun of me. I think, is that correct? That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
Is that about right?
Yeah, it makes sense. So, and that in your glasses.
I love these glasses. They make my eyes relax. I squint too much and get those squint headaches. Jen was suspiciously absent for most of the members only event.
The whole time. You're so
allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah, I mean, like you weren't in the chat. We were having a good time in the chat.
I was in the chat.
I
was in the chat.
Sure. Sure you were. Sure. I have a sneaking suspicion Jen had a date last night, wouldn't tell us.
No date. I was sitting at my computer the whole time.
Skyping?
Watching the chat. Huh?
Skyping?
No. Who Skypes?
I don't know.
Who Skypes?
Is Skype still? Do we still use Skype?
Are you like 75 years old?
Easy. Let's not get into that, Grandma.
Me? What are you talking about? I'm not the one who's talking about Skype.
I've never told anybody this before, but when Jen graduated high school, her first job, and this is a true story, and like people wonder how we met each other, but the true story is Jen's first job after graduating high school was as my babysitter, and she has just kind of kept that role.
You're so full of shit. See, I'm 2 years older than you. So full of shit. You just make things up this entire time.
Nobody knows. I'm looking at Skype right now. Does it still exist?
I don't know. I haven't seen it. I think it's probably still around. I think you can still get like AOL emails too. But
oh no, it's been rolled into Microsoft Teams.
Huh. And in fair, like Ross said, I'm technically still your babysitter. So.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you didn't really ever change that job. That's why she's so good at it, guys. She's been doing it for. I don't know. Let's see. I'm 40, yeah. So you were 18, so you're 58. Yeah, so about 40 years. Yeah.
58, right? Yeah. Got it.
All right. Well, any updates for us, Jen?
Yeah, Missy J's 5'7".
Fuck off. That's not nice. 5'10". This can be verified. It cannot be verified.
We're making shit up. We're just gonna go with that.
All right, that's fair. Actually, that's fair. You win.
So, all right. Well, we can keep going. But yeah, we had a good members only event. Watch party watching Snowden.
Yeah. We had a great time.
I was there the whole time.
Mm.
Anyways, we can just get going with the show because you're just on some bullshit already. So, welcome everybody. Yeah, TikTok is not on today. I think we're banned till the 13th, if I remember right. Matthew just sent a Venmo saying, appreciate you guys.
And Raina
So-
said, for the watch party, it was fun. You were on a roll. I was on weed. I think it was more than a roll, but thank you.
Yeah, it's usually a different substance for rolling.
Yeah, I did roll it before. Yeah, I guess that's true.
Got it. Do you do it like by hand, or do you have like one of those little machines?
I do it by hand. I enjoy it. It's therapeutic to me. Sometimes when I'm like stressed, I'll roll out like a week's worth of J's, and it's just like it's therapeutic for me. I actually like doing it.
Ah, got it.
Thank you.
Got it. All right, so we'll get going. So like Matthew and Raina, and I know you said another name, I forgot. We got the gift goal. So
It's Damien.
Yeah. Damien. Okay. I think we had a couple super chats come through too. So we got the gift goal. We need to hit that each day so that we can keep the lights on and keep doing this. So Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, super chats all go towards knocking out that gift goal. We prefer the payouts outside of super chats, but anything is appreciated. The pay links just take less. So if you're not already a subscriber, please become one. You can join us for the members only event, so you can see that I'm actually in the chat and Jay's not just making shit up that I'm not there.
I mean, people were there. You weren't there for a lot. Let's be okay. Now let's drop all the bullshit. Let's drop all the bullshit. You didn't say anything for a very long time.
Well, I was watching the movie.
Yeah.
Watching the movie, and what was the? I mean, I sent a handful of GIFs. I mean, my middle finger umbrella.
GIF?
Yeah. GIF.
GIF?
GIF.
Is that correct?
I
say GIF. Have I been saying? Oh, it can't be GIF. That's GIF. Peanut butter. Every MAGA person who's listening's dog just ran up to him. Peanut butter?
I mean, I don't know.
Are you guys hard G or the J sound? I say GIF.
GIF.
The young ones say GIF instead of GIF. That can't be I don't know. That can't be Jen. Hard G, yeah. Do you say the G in giraffe? Giraffe. Yeah, no, you don't. I guess that's. But there's an R there, right? Like it's not gifaff.
I don't know. Anyways, yes, I was there. Besides the point, are you medicated today? This feels like an unmedicated day.
This feels judgmental to me, is what it feels like. Honestly,
well, it's not anything new. So, but you didn't answer my question. Are we medicated today?
There are different medications that I take for different things, and I take those medications when necessary.
Your ADHD medication. Have you taken that today?
Yes. Are you saying it's not working?
I'm curious if it's working. So, we might need that.
I'm in a good mood.
We might need your dosage rechecked because you're all over the place.
Well, we talked before the show started. I had the opportunity this morning to talk some shit, which always kind of gets my juices flowing, and so I do. And I think that's why I liked debating for a while. Like occasionally, I just need to like say some shit, and I had an opportunity to say some shit this morning. So maybe that's what it was.
Hi, Jay.
Bestie, hey.
Hi, Bestie.
What are you? You just waking up?
Yep.
Oh, how did you sleep?
Good.
What's for breakfast?
I'm watching the movie.
What's for breakfast? He asked.
I don't know. Yeah, what is for breakfast? No?
Go away.
No. What's for breakfast, Jay? That's the question.
Go away.
If you go to McDonald's, Bestie, they have a spicy chicken McGriddle. It's unbelievable.
She just gave the dirtiest look on her face.
She's hungry, Mom.
Well, she can have some cereal. So.
All right. Sorry, Bestie, I tried.
Anyways, all right. We'll get back to the show. So yeah, become a subscriber wherever you're watching. If you're watching on Twitch, you can use your Amazon Prime sub if you haven't already used it for another channel. So you can use Bases and Money Night Yours, and any membership on YouTube works as well. If you guys disagree with RTP, you want to come up and have a conversation, you can do that by sending me a message on Discord. My Discord username is the same as Venmo, so Jen with 2 N's, Deb with 2 B's, the number 1. Check out the link here in the bio. We're on most social media platforms. We got merch, Jay's on Cameo. We upload these episodes to Spotify. Yeah, so let's knock out that gift goal. Why do elephants hate running on the beach?
I would imagine elephants always hate running, but running on the beach. I don't know.
They can't keep their trunks up.
Hey, Jen, what do you get when you mix an elephant and a rhino?
What?
Elephino. I made Jen laugh. That's incredible. I did it. That's like she said. Yeah, she does sound just like Jen, right? Just totally unimpressed at all times. she's just like her mom.
She's got attitude. So.
You don't get it, Tiff? Oh, I think I finally want a dueling dad jokes for an hour. Yeah. I was told by the person I'm dating when she has kids and sometimes her kids are around. One of her kids was like, he might joke too much. He might not be serious enough. I might be too silly for a 12-year-old, that's tough to hear. It's like the 12-year-old's more mature than I am. That's tough. But I'm dealing with it. Let's get to everybody's favorite pollster, Harry Enton. Let me switch screens here. I 2 Harry Enton videos to kick today off. If your energy wasn't high yet, it will be because Harry Enton brings the energy.
Yeah, I would just say, if I'm an American, based upon the polling I'm seeing, I hear the president go, what the heck did I just hear? What the heck is going on? One of the most political...
Hold on. The creator of GIF said it can be pronounced either way. Yeah, I bet he thinks both parties are the problem. It's the uniparty. I now no longer like the GIF person. Have an opinion, you goddamn pussy.
Politically tone-deaf statements I've ever heard, and you can see it in the numbers right here. Americans don't like the inflation. They hate the inflation. They don't love the inflation. They hate the inflation. Inflation net approval, minus 50 points or worse. 50 points underwater or worse. Total polls per president. Trump in 2026, already at least eight polls in which his net approval rating on inflation or the cost of living is negative 50 points or worse. Every other president in every other year, the answer is 0. Trump is not only the first one to reach negative 50 points or worse net approval rating on inflation, he's done it many of times. So
that's pretty good because remember, he's only been president for like 5.5 years total. So that's really impressive. And Pope John Paul IV, thank you for joining the dollar train there.
I hear Trump's statement. I feel like Mrs. White and Klug going, what is happening here?
That a big aspect and one of the first things that people track in terms of the cost of living is the cost of gas prices. Yeah. How are people feeling about Trump and gas prices?
Yeah, okay, so you see this historic number right here. You know, Trump being the first one ever to get minus 50. He's done it multiple times. No other president's done it. How about an 80% disapproval on gas prices, which of course is fueling this frustration with inflation? Take a look here. The only president with an 80% disapproval rating on...
I don't want to be crude, but did anybody verify or like fact check? You know that video that it went pretty viral of Trump like farting? Like he like stepped out of the car, farted, and then came back in. Did anybody verify ever if that was real? I was really hoping that was real. I didn't believe it. I was 80-20 on it.
Gas prices of all time is Trump in 2026. You can see Trump there. He's pointing the arrow to it. Yes, he has done it. This Iran war has done it. It has fueled record frustration on inflation and record frustration when it comes to gas prices. The only president ever with at least an 80% disapproval rating on gas prices.
We're setting records, baby. Setting fucking records, this guy. That's Donald Trump. That's why his folks love him. He's always winning. He's always just dominating these polls, doing things nobody thought possible.
In this year, 2026.
And from yesterday.
How do I know he wasn't shitting? Well, from the stories, it sounds like his farts are regularly shits also, but they sounded wet.
We've been told that his statement of "I love inflation" just ricocheted and ripped through Capitol Hill. And you can hear from Republican lawmakers the very real concern about what this increase in prices means to their constituents. But of course, that's also tied into the midterm election.
The polls are rigged. That's right. The polls are rigged.
This frustration trickling down.
Yeah. President Trump may love the inflation. The American people hate the inflation. And I think the Republicans on Capitol Hill absolutely hated Donald Trump's statement. Why? Because it is absolutely funneling down. OK, Democrats are the party more trusted on inflation. For the first time since the 1970s, it is true.
I wanted to help you out there. Cave is real. Said, we love Trump. We is, you use we when you're talking about multiple people. When you're speaking for yourself, you say I. But welcome, and it's good to have you here. Just try and remember that that we is you and another person or others, and I would be when you're speaking for you.
True now today, we are actually seeing polling in which the Democrats are the party that is more trusted in inflation. I was looking back at all the polls I can find. The last time it really happened in an average of polls was in 1978, of course, before that inflation boom took Jimmy Carter out. And if history is prologue in this situation, well, it's going to take out the Republican majority in the House as well. So no wonder that Republicans heard that statement and just like me are like, Mrs. White, what?
I love inflation, said Donald Trump. We love him. We love Donald Trump. Namaste. Becca Day got banned on TikTok? Like perma-banned? Is that real? Jen, is that real?
What did I just hear? Well, you just heard a president who wants to sink his party's midterm fortunes. That's what you just heard.
That's real? What the fuck happened? What'd she get banned for?
All right, Harry, thank you so much. These
They
numbers
were banning a bunch of people.
Paolo Zampoli was bragging about it. Hold on. Is this where there's got it? He was bragging about it? If you guys don't know who we're talking about, Becca Day she's done a ton of really good reporting on Epstein and specifically Paolo Zampoli. Paolo? I'm looking to see if there's a video of him bragging.
I guess she made a video of a screenshot of something he posted on X about it.
Here it is. Today, TikTok removed an account that was spreading fake news, defamation, and harassment. Freedom of speech is sacred, but it is not a license to smear or abuse. We will continue working for a cleaner. Jesus. God, that's chilling. I mean, like, I get frustrated when I get banned from TikTok, but I'm just me, right? I just do stuff they don't like. Becca Day is a legitimate force. 1.4 million followers. Her research is incredible. She's not flippant with what she does. She connects dots. Jesus. Fuck TikTok. Holy shit. Becca has a backup account that she made a post explaining it. Let's see real quick. Let's see if we can find it. This one legitimately, I'm used to this. And usually when somebody gets banned off TikTok, it's just like, that's TikTok. But this one legitimately makes me sad. Becca Day is a hero. She's one of the, I think she's probably, I mean, it's like her and CoffeeZilla. We'll show a little bit later today, the Dre dossier. There's just a handful of great investigative independent journalists, and she's up there.
Hey friends, if you've seen this, it means you have found my backup account. Welcome. If you missed it. Hey friends, if you've seen this, it means you have found my backup account. Welcome. If you missed it, my main account was wrongfully terminated last night. I had no violations whatsoever. My account was in great standing. I was following all the rules as I always do. Out of nowhere, mid-scroll, I got nuked. But it's all good. No worries. We're in contact with TikTok support. We're doing the things. My main account will very likely be back. I just don't know if it's going to be this week or next week or tomorrow or when. But eventually we'll get the keys to our home. We'll get back in there, guys. But what is so funny about this entire situation is I know exactly why my account was nuked, because
Oh,
the
her account is restored?
person who did it admitted to it on his social media, and it is a person who is in our current administration. You guessed it, Paolo Zampoli. Look at him bragging about the fact that he got my account nuked on his Ambassador Paolo Zampoli Instagram. While I know he was very excited to see me gone, it's kind of funny because like within 12 hours, I've already gathered up like 20K of my friends and we're all already over here still talking about him.
Okay, so
It's like,
she won then. Is that right? Is her regular account back then? Maybe don't worry, but that's crazy. Dean's getting them. Yeah, that's actually okay. She's back. That's actually pretty normal to get violations even when you're not live, especially with an audience like Dean has. Like during the election season in 2004, there were times when we'd have 1,500 to 2,000 viewers, which doesn't touch what Dean does at his peak, but we would get that happening to us too, because so many people report that some of those reports take a while and they have to go back. So that's not that surprising. Ignore you. What'd you say, G Woody? Sorry. I don't know what you said. Or were you saying to ignore you? Gotcha. Yeah, there's somebody said that's what's chilling, that he bragged. I was thinking about this yesterday, how brazen so many of these things are. Now, I was thinking about it in terms of Elon Musk and the SpaceX IPO and how obviously fraudulent this is. And I think like there's this tendency just to think like, oh, they're going to get away with it forever. But that doesn't happen. Like eventually it gets to be too much and support crashes. And I think we're pretty fucking close to that because it's going to affect most Americans. Like when Elon Musk steals the amount of money that he's about to steal, which if you guys missed that, the short of that story is that Elon Musk is taking these non-profitable companies like Twitter, where he lost basically $20 billion of value, Tesla, XAI, which was Grok, and instead of, because he can't get any outsider money, because it's drying up, instead of just like operating these businesses at a loss, he just keeps merging them together. And now he's going to merge XAI, and SpaceX all under one company with this crazy it's like $200 trillion valuation. And then they rewrote the laws so that within 5 days of the SpaceX IPO going into place, basically it will be included in everybody's mutual funds, because they're going to take the top 100 companies in the country, and within 5 days, basically any of you who have mutual funds, even if you don't want to invest in SpaceX, you're going to invest in SpaceX. And what that's going to allow people to do is like the investors in Twitter who took an absolute fucking bath, the early investors in Tesla, or people who have lost value in their Tesla investments, or anybody with a substantial share, they will see, because those shares will move over and become SpaceX shares. They'll unload those shares to you, to us, the public. And most of us that have investments in these mutual funds, we don't even know. So it's going to be our loss. So when it'll peak, then it'll drop. We'll take the hit for it, and they'll make all the money. And it's going to be too obvious. I do think we're getting near that point of revolt. There was, do I have it on here? I might have it on here. We may just move into that. Let me see. Don't remember if I put it on here or not. I'll just show it to you. Good segue, huh? I don't remember the people's names. It was what's the Bulwark guy's name? Guy with the puka shell necklace all the time. Tim Miller. He had on Jason Calacanis. I just swear that's on here. I swear I have Jason Calacanis on here. Let me check one more time. Oh, I moved. Oh, yeah, I remember. I moved it. All right. Let me just show you this. This was interesting because I think this is true. I don't agree with Tim Miller a lot of the times. I think he's kind of a fence sitter, but that's natural. Like transitioning from a Republican to a progressive. But the pitchforks are coming, says Tim Miller. And I kind of agree with this. I think we're on the verge of the pitchforks are coming.
If you start a war and you do a supply chain shock with energy, you essentially take the Trump 2.0 agenda and you torch it,
Correct.
Which is what's happened.
But why haven't more people?
The Calcanis guy is absolutely unhinged VC type of guy. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I'm not huge on Calcanis, but I agree with this.
People come around on that. And again, I would think that Chamath, for example, I know you don't like to speak for your clients, but in theory, if you had a VC and you brought a CEO in and they're like, hey, man, you invest in me right now, you get behind me, we're going to have 6% growth this year. And then 6 months later, they like stuck their dick in the fax machine and like screwed everything up. And now they're at 2% growth with maybe going down.
I don't really understand that reference, but it makes me laugh.
From there, you'd be like, okay, well, see, turns out we need some new leadership. I'm calling the board here. I have some concerns.
Yeah, so
why isn't that happening? Why aren't people like, we're calling the board here?
Very simple. Very simple.
Yeah.
Trump demands complete fidelity. I'm not speaking about Chamath or anybody specific, but we all know in order to be in the Trump circle, you have to have complete, utter fidelity to him. He's a genius.
So it's North Korea. We're in North Korea.
Basically.
But this is like, it's not just a Trump thing. Like, this is an American culture problem currently, is that these people are being propped up as if they are heroes, if like superheroes, or like they're all Tony fucking Stark. I'll show you a clip here in a second of Alex Karp. One thing that I think is becoming painfully obvious to a lot of people is that for a long time, when I used to look at the tech world and I would hear speeches from the VC guys, in my mind, I was like, I don't really understand what they're saying. Like, I need to educate myself more on this so that I can understand what they're saying. But they obviously know what they're doing. So I'll just research. As I started to understand like their vernacular and the way that they talk about fundraising and the way that they talk about valuation, the deeper you get into it, the more you're like, oh, it's hard to understand because it's bullshit, because they're making it up on, like, they've just all made up almost like their own language and their own rules. And they talk about things. What is that theory? I'll see if I can pull it. But they theorize everything. Everything for these people is a theory. And one of the theories is that they talk about all the time is productivity. And they measure all of their companies by productivity, which is supposed to be output, but what it really is the amount of revenue. And then they measure that productivity and they give all the credit to the CEO, and then it works back down. And then all the people who actually were productive and put the labor, like, they're a fixed cost and they're seen as replaceable. And so these CEOs and these like tech founders, they've put themselves in this weird position where they're not really doing that much. And they're kind of like, they figured out a way to like cycle the money amongst each other and have these like gross partnerships where they create LLCs and shell companies so that they can interact with each other and sometimes interact with themselves to pay themselves money and funnel money into their company that was money that they spent and make their revenue look higher, which drives up their stock price. And the reason it's so convoluted, I think, for a lot of people and why people stay away from like the financial markets is because it's all fucking bullshit. It's all casino games. There's literally no difference in investing than going to a casino in terms of like how it's made up. The only real difference is like how much oversight there is or what the laws are. And most of the laws just make it possible for rich people to control everything. Remember, like when we watched in like The Big Short, and a lot of people have, like, if you Google right now, how would I short, let's say, Nvidia stock? You can't go out and take out those insurance bonds for those collateralized loan obligations like the people did with the collateralized debt obligations in the financial crisis in 2008, because you don't have the license to do so. In order to have the license to do so, you've got to have like minimum capital requirements, which is like, I don't know, it's like 250 million. It might be even higher. That might be 500 million now. I know the Trump administration just changed it. And so you and I don't even have access to this stuff. So they rig an entire system, and then they're like, if you're going to bet against this system, you have to have certain requirements. And if you get those certain requirements, once you have that level of income and you're investing, well, now you're kind of in the game and you want to work with each other. So you scratch each other's backs and this shit just keeps going. The reason we haven't had a crash yet which everybody's been predicting a crash since the first Trump administration. The only reason we haven't had a crash yet is because we've allowed circular financing, we take overseas investments, and we have a Fed who acts in the interest of rich people instead of all of us. But we're just inflating this bubble over and over and over again. And the larger this bubble gets, the more painful it's going to be when it pops. And then that's what the rest of this video is about. Is like, what happens when this bubble pops? People aren't going to stay loyal to these tech VCs. People are going to realize in real time, just like in 2008, who the evil people were. And the evil people in 2008 were the bankers, the mortgage folks, and of course, Congress, and the people who deregulated. We come out of 2008, we learn all these lessons, allegedly. We don't do anything to punish the bankers, the mortgage brokers, the hedge fund managers, the CDO managers. We don't do shit to any of them. One person goes to jail, total. We don't give any money back to the victims. We give the money back to the perpetrators for some reason. Elizabeth Warren and a band of progressives come in and they add all this regulation on that would have made it so that 2008 didn't happen. And then we've slowly picked away at that regulation in these folks always find a way. So look at what happened when this administration came into office. We got rid of all the regulations that had been put in place after 2008. You got rid of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. You got rid of the National Labor Relations Board. You basically handcuffed the FBI with their crypto teams. The Department of Justice isn't going after financial crimes at all. We decreased the funding for the IRS. We're not hiring new people. We're not going after these crimes. And so it's going to be really, really obvious who the crooks are as soon as this bursts. And then, what are we going to do? History tells us that we won't do enough. History tells us that what will happen is we all collectively will be outraged, and the far right and the far left will drive the conversation because they will be right, because everybody in the middle will be the ones that just sat on their hands and did nothing. And you will have libertarian-leaning people and progressives, and they'll be pushing all of this change. And the libertarians will say things like, "We want no government control," and they'll lose because they always lose. And the progressives will win, and the progressives will say, "We need to put regulation in place so that this never happens again." And that will be the populist message that will win. That's why I think we're going to talk about elections today, but outside of rigging elections, history tells us not only will progressives win in the midterms and the presidency, but it will be actual progressives, not moderate Democrats, which, again, Hakeem Jeffries, Chuck Schumer, can you wake the fuck up? Can you figure that, wake up? This is what's going to happen. You should embrace it. History, though, tells us that within 4 or 5 years, the same people that are involved in this financial collapse will go and they'll sponsor a bunch of Republicans, and the Republicans will start complaining about regulation, and they'll slowly strip away all the regulation. All these people will get rich again. They'll create another bubble, and then it'll crash, and we'll pay for it. That's that's my guess. Unless we all get really fucking loud, and unless a lot of Americans figure this the fuck out, because we just don't figure it out very well. It's crazy that we still argue. If you argue with a Republican about what happened in 2008 because they're ideologically conditioned to hate any sort of regulation, you can't get them to admit that the reason that 2008 happened is because of unregulated gambling in the stock market and overlending and deregulation. They'll never admit that, even though it's obvious that that's what happened. All right. What do I mean by revolt? I don't know, man. I honestly don't know. I mean, I don't want a violent revolt. But what do you do? What are poor people going to do? They're probably best positioned to handle this. But what about the people who are new poor? What about the people that were living middle-class lives, scraping by, and then they lose everything? That's new to them. They haven't been poor. What do those people do? How much anger will there be? We have this weird scenario too that we could really, really nosedive into a like a dictatorship, either fascist or oligarchical or whatever you want to call it. You could see this government seizing control and using the anger of the people and the revolt of the people if it got violent to take control. I think a lot of people want a violent overthrow. I don't. I'm terrified of that. As always, I would much rather settle things with a discussion and with education. But these same people who caused this crash are going to be funding these politicians to not blame them and instead blame everybody who gets pissed off about it. Ask France what poor people do. Look on your Chiefs, billionaires. I don't know what that means. The left won't get violent. Some will. Some will. I mean, we've done some violent things. Tanya said, "Happy early Friday." Thank you.
I think
all right. Here's what they're talking about. Sorry, I went on a tangent.
I feel like again like a capitalist system. it doesn't feel like a capitalist system. Yeah.
It's
I can't critique the president.
Capitalist slash. If you told a bunch of business leaders,
May, nobody thinks Trump did all this, dummy. Literally nobody has said to actually think Trump did all this or Trump did all this. You have to, like, you're kind of the problem. Sorry for calling you a dummy. That was rude of me. I apologize. You have to get out of that mindset. What you hear is criticism, and part of it is Trump. And you hear Trump, and you immediately dismiss it. This has been going on since the last financial collapse in 2008. Obama fucked this up. Obama fucked up when he paid the banks instead of the actual victims of the financial collapse. Trump fucked up when he came in and he started deregulating and gave a massive tax cut to the rich. Biden fucked up when he started giving out government contracts to Elon Musk and handing over our space program to Elon Musk and handing out subsidies to renewable energy companies without any return on investment and without making sure that those investments would be protected, which Trump came in and just got rid of those just by executive order. Our government has done a very poor job protecting its people. It's not just Trump, but it also is Trump.
This could become oligarchic.
They'd say yeah.
They would be like, sign me up.
Hell yeah.
Sounds great.
And this is
oligarchy sounds pretty great.
And this is why we're fucked, J-Cal.
For a short period of time.
Can we agree for a second? This is why we're fucked. This is why we're not going to get. You said you wanted normal. I'm sure you and I would disagree on the margin.
I thought. Sorry, not cut it there. But he said oligarchy sounds good to a capitalist. He's doesn't that ring true to a lot of you who sit in this chat every day? That when we talk to Republicans and when they run out of ways to combat what's about to happen, they would rather have an oligarchy than have a Democrat be president. In fact, MAGA, if you're here, would you rather an oligarchy run by Trump and his investors, either as a shadow government or as a legitimate, or not a legitimate, but like an in-your-face government, or would you rather have a Democrat as president? Oligarchy or Democrat? Well, I think he says oligarchy sounds great to the capitalist, because the capitalists right now are very afraid of the pushback that's about to happen, because it's going to be, it's being exposed that capitalism is a rigged game. Do we have many MAGA here? Could you guys answer that? I'm trying to be nice to you today. Ooh, melted wing. I like you. This all stems back from the dismantling of the Glass-Steagall Act, which started in 1981 and finished in 1998. After that was gone, the 2008 financial collapse was inevitable. Somebody knows their history. You know who didn't know about Glass-Steagall? Charlie Kirk, when he debated Sam Cedar, and he pretended he knew what it was. But basically, that separated commercial and investment banking. So, but then when they undid that, you were able to take commercial and investment banking and put them together, which just made all the investments more risky. I'll take a Trump presidency in whatever form. So, yeah. May, I'm asking you questions. Ask your mama virtual. She seemed to have. Wait, can you just answer the question? What are you doing? Can you just answer the question about if you would rather prefer an oligarchy or a Democrat president? Phoenix said, blaming Trump fully is like blaming the arsonist with a flamethrower for the volcano burning down the village. He isn't helping, but he didn't start it. Yeah. Yeah. There might be a few buildings that wouldn't would have missed the lava flow, and he's just torching them, but yeah, the lava did most of the damage. Did you hurt my feelings? No. Okay, you shut up. No, I just wanted you to answer. I was trying to engage with you honestly. What's wrong with you, May? Jesus Christ. What's wrong with you? Why are you so worked up right now? I just asked you a question. I was trying to engage. Oh, Lord. That's why we're fucked.
He wanted normal. I'm sure you and I would disagree on the margins and what the marginal tax rate should be for the top tax bracket or whatever. But like,
maybe not.
We're not. Maybe we
surprised.
wouldn't. I don't know. But we're not going to get normal because these guys have decided that they want to go on with oligarchy. They decided that it's cool for Elon to become a trillionaire. They decided that they can't abide any even tiny tax hike on capital gains rates or corporate. So what they're going to
If Elon becomes a trillionaire, I need some of you, if there's open minds here at all, it's bad that billionaires exist, and it would be worse that trillionaires exist. And forget like the argument of did they earn the money or did they not. Money has a value. Each dollar has a value, right? Of a purchasing power, how much you can purchase. Elon Musk becoming a trillionaire is not trillions of dollars in cash. It's in value. And that means that the value of his money, because it's trillions now, is going to devalue yours. Your purchasing power gets lower the higher the wealth disparity gets. So if you're making $80,000 a year and there are 10 billionaires versus if you're making $80,000 a year and there's 500 billionaires, your $80,000 is worth substantially less when there are 500 billionaires because of their purchasing power. This is fake money that they're able to invent. They're able to create this fake value. That's why Tesla is a fucking problem. We've talked about it a million times, but what is, let's look. What's Tesla's stock price currently? Tesla's stock price currently $383.92. Okay, their Tesla revenue 2025 was $94 billion. Okay, so their stock price is $383.94 billion in revenue. Let's look at General Motors stock price. General Motors stock price is $79. So it's $300. It's $300 less than Tesla. What's their revenue? Let's see. 2025. $185 billion. They have double the revenue, and their stock price is what did I say? Was it 90 or 80 into 380? Almost five times. GM is a much more profitable company than Tesla. It's a better company than Tesla. And yet its stock value is significantly lower. Why is that? It's because it's fake. Elon is able to not only get outside, like retail investors like you and I, to be like, oh, fuck yeah, this is a great stock. His friends also invest. And when he takes VC money, what they're really doing, because they don't always need that money. A lot of times they're taking that VC money and they're just putting it into the company and they're making the announcement and they're doing that to raise their stock price. And you know what happens? Let's say and this is what Elon's been doing, like the circular financing. Let's say that Tesla gets some venture capital money coming in from Thiel's VC firm. And they get this money in, and then Tesla's stock price goes up because like, oh, they just fundraised, they just got $100 million from Thiel. Then what do they do? Then they go and they say, we're going to go and we're going to purchase with this money that we got from investment. We're going to go purchase space at a data center, or we're going to go buy NVIDIA chips. And they go and they make a large purchase in another company that Thiel owns. And so Thiel, by giving that money, it raises his stock in Tesla and then raises it in Nvidia or whoever else he has money in. And that money is all circular, right? The investors are investing back in and paying for purchases to raise their stock price. Then they get a return on that investment. They're expected to get a return. They can just then sell their stock later on and recoup that investment. That's silly. It shouldn't work that way. There should be rules against that. Tesla should not be 5 times more valuable than GM, and yet it is. Without being more valuable, like the stock price shouldn't be that high. That's not math. This shit's all made up. And we talk about it, and you see these financial analysts, and they're like, I was watching Chamath yesterday trying to justify the $200 trillion valuation for SpaceX. And they're like, how would you do it? He's like, well, they did $18 billion in revenue this year, which means they'll do $35 billion next year. What? Why would they get 30? Why would they double their revenue? And he's like, well, they doubled their revenue from the year before. So I went and I looked at how they doubled their revenue. Do you know how they doubled their revenue? This is where it gets real fucked up. You know how SpaceX doubled their revenue? Anybody know where they got their money? Get some guesses. Some of you know. Guys, can you stop engaging with me and stay on subject? Stock price. Taxpayers. Boom. Most of it is government contracts. Like 70% of it is government contracts. Now think about that. Why are we giving SpaceX government contracts? Oh, because the government wants to explore space, right? Whether it's satellite technology, Starlink. Well, why doesn't the government just do that? We have NASA. Why don't we just use NASA? Oh, because we gave all those contracts to Elon Musk. Why? I don't know. Do you guys know why? Do any of us have any fucking idea? Like, is there a legitimate reason why we handed our space program over to Elon Musk? He's rich because you're paying him. We're all paying him to do something that we were already doing. See how rigged this is? And everybody's going to figure this out very soon. They can't. SpaceX can't make money unless the taxpayers are paying for it. Yeah, this is literally the richest people in this country convincing politicians to give them all the money. And then they do. And then we have record inflation. And what are we doing? Who's making the most money right now? We'll get to Donald Trump here in a little bit. It's the billionaires. Donald Trump's openly bragging about this now. He's like, oh, we have all this inflation from our war in Iran. But guess what? We're getting rich with oil. We? No, we are not getting rich with oil. Your donors are getting rich. We are paying exorbitant prices for that oil. We are gaining nothing. But if you're MAGA, you're like, we're winning. We all collectively are winning. No, you're not. You are losing. And Donald Trump's just in your face telling you how you're losing. This can't last that much longer because once people don't have money anymore, they're just gonna be like, fuck. And it sucks. It's a damn shame that we can't get people to wake the fuck up before this happens, but like that's where we're at now. It just has to crash. Then comes the revolt. Let me show you this. Sorry, this wasn't on the outline. I had it for yesterday, but I wanted to show you one more thing. This is Alex Karp, and this is first of all, this account is insane. I hate this too. So I came across this video. This is Milk Road AI. And what do they have? How many followers do they have here? 33,000 or 33.4 thousand followers. All they do is they take a video and ask AI to generate an explanation of it, and 33,000 followers. Because nobody can actually understand what Alex Karp is saying. So I wanted to break this down. He was on with CNBC. And there's a lot of criticism about Palantir right now for a lot of reasons. But investors are criticizing Palantir because what they're saying is AI is going to get rid of Palantir. If AI is as smart as they say it is, like it could obviously get rid of Palantir because Palantir is about data collection, analysis, and then decision making when it comes to military action. It's also like data analysis, procurement, and throughout our government, like our entire I guess, exoskeleton of the government. And so this is a fair question. Like, why would you be immune? And ironically, Alex Karp is going to fall back on, well, we won't get beat by AI because AI can't do what humans do. They're starting to, like, the lie that these language learning models are going to do what they say they're going to do is starting to be exposed even by them. Let's talk about it. How does AI actually take over? How does it actually do these jobs they're claiming it will do? And why isn't it doing it now? Why aren't they solving any problems now? Why are all these problems they're going to solve in the future? Why are they making these wild claims? Because it's a money heist that's about to happen. What they're actually racing to, when they tell you, when the leadership in this country tells you that we have to beat China to market with AI, what they're really saying is what these guys are telling them to say, which is we have to win this race. And what the race that they're actually running is which of them is going to win the AI race. And the race isn't towards like who has the best technology, it's to IPO. It's which one of them will be the richest with their IPO, which is their initial public offering. When they go public, that's when they can cash out all of their shares. Once the public's invested, then they can cash out. That's how they make their money. The reason it's a race, the reason they're so against each other is because only one of them will win. And only one of them will win because the first person to get to IPO, the first person to see that realization will raise their IPO stock and then it'll plummet. And everybody else's IPO will be devalued from then on. Because the truth is, this is just a better Google. These LLMs, ChatGPT, like it's just a better Google. But what it can't do is act like a human. It can recognize patterns, but it doesn't create anything new. It relies on old knowledge. It's not creating new knowledge. It's just a better Google. And the better you are at using it, the better your results will be. The human part of AI is very important. A lot of you can use AI much better than me. I'm bad. Like I'm still kind of learning it. But a lot of people are great at it. And they can't tell you that they're just racing to an IPO. And you'll see in Alex Karp here. Because Alex Karp and all these people invested in AI, they've been saying forever, oh, it's going to change the world. It's going to change everything. It's going to make the world a better place. And now there's questions of like, what will happen to you? Because everything you're claiming AI will do should be able to replace you and your company. So now what?
I think the biggest question around Palantir right now on Wall Street is whether the large language models, the Anthropics and the AIs, which are about to go public, can replicate what you're doing. You know what? It's a real question that no one in enterprise factually is worried. Like, you know, the investors are really interested. Short term have no idea what they're talking about. Long term end up being right. But we will just debate this with the facts. You know, I've spent all my
everybody's dumb but us. I like that about Alex Karp. Everyone's wrong but me. Trust me.
Life, for better or worse, dealing with the most complicated, most interesting enterprises. I'm on the
sorry, and I shouldn't have said AI is a better Google. It's a better search engine. Obviously, Google's using AI. That's a better way to put that.
Ground floor in that, probably like no one else. And they don't. You're saying I mean, most of them are chillaxing over their latte, reading a report about something that they don't understand the technical capacity about. But they're hiring the kind of engineers that that you have. And those kind of engineers are great engineers. And I'm telling you, they don't talk to the enterprises or don't understand the technical challenge. And also, by the way, the ability to be a great investor in the kind of where...
Of course he's calling you stupid. They all call us stupid. And this is what they do. Like when they get caught and they don't have answers anymore, they just say, oh, you're dumb, we're smart, I'll be right, you'll be wrong.
That's where large language models are more useful because it's probabilistic and you don't have to get better than really 51%. If you want to manufacture a car and you need a part or you want to send a rocket to the moon or you want to put a missile on your adversary's head and bring home Americans safely, that stuff doesn't ship. And by the way, and there's not a single high-end enterprise like that would ever put, by the way, that's before you...
Okay, so what's the race for then? He's basically saying like AI accumulates data, but it doesn't make sound decisions. You can't replace those kind of decisions. You can't replace instincts. All right, well then what's this race for? IPO. It's a lie. There's a reason that like DeepSeek, which is the Chinese language learning model, there's a reason it was so cheap to develop. Because it's not that expensive to develop in comparison to like what we're doing over here at OpenAI. Why is OpenAI so expensive? It's not. They're just taking on VC money. They're trying to inflate the value of their company by bringing in investors. That's why. There's a reason that we're 20x more expensive than China. It's because China is developing language learning models in concert with the government, and they're not worried about inflating the stock price of those language learning model companies. That's how they do it more cheaply, because it's not a rigged economic model. We have a very rigged economic model in this country, and so that's why we can't compete in manufacturing. It's why we can't compete in these LLMs. It's why we struggle to compete in chips, manufacturing chips. It's why we struggle with almost everything. Because our economy has been developed in a way that rich people get a cut of everything, literally just fucking everything. They get a cut of our healthcare. They get a cut of like our food. They get a cut of our schools now. Like we're letting them make money off of our public education, off of our military, off of our space program. We just give them money for everything. And China doesn't do that. China keeps that. China keeps 50%. And they use that money and reinvest in their people. We could do that. And the only reason we don't do it is because, again, socialism bad, China evil. And so that keeps enough people away from replicating what China does.
Get to the cultural impasse. Like when you go to San Francisco and talk to them, their basic vibe is, we don't have to solve your problem today because tomorrow you're going to go away and all of your problems are going to be solved. It's largely religious. And then you get to, we're going to replicate Palantir by doing a deploy co. I mean, it's a complete farce. Like the people who go there to solve the simplest, easiest problems that sell tokens. And the part they don't understand, honestly, and I told them this, I probably shouldn't, is they don't understand how unlikable they are. So the product...
That I agree with. There's no way for these folks to recoup the money that they've spent outside of an IPO, and then you're fucked. Then if you want to make any money at all, they're going to have to sell you back the internet. Who laid the groundwork for the internet here? We did. We paid for that. Our government paid for that infrastructure. Who gave all the knowledge to these language learning models? We did, collectively. Who taught them? Who's teaching them to do art? Humans. Humans who did real labor. Who's teaching them scientific research? Humans who did real labor. I saw a clip from Rogan the other day where he's like, he listens to AI music now, and he's like, this is amazing. And it was like, I think it was Ice Cube or something that like does different songs. He's like, remix this song in Ice Cube's voice. And he's like, this is better than the original. Where'd they learn? He's like, it sounds perfect. The vocals are perfect. Yeah. Where'd they learn that? Shouldn't Ice Cube get royalties? Why does Ice Cube's labor not get paid for there? Why would we give all of this labor for free to these companies? We've got it so backwards here. Like we got so fucked up by capitalism. We got so indoctrinated that like we can't, like now theft is capitalism. One of the best videos I've had on Instagram that's done the most well. Every day there's still like 20 or 30 comments on it. I don't know how many views it's up to now, but it's a lot. Was talking about the circular financing. And it's interesting when you look through the comments, there's all these people like, yeah, that's the way the system works, dummy. Yeah, it's fraudulent. And there's just so many people in this country who just accept like, oh, we have a totally fraudulent system. You have to work within that system. It's a totally corrupt system. Deal with it. And why do we deal with it? Well, because the alternative is socialism, and socialism's scary and bad. The alternative isn't socialism, by the way. The alternative is not corruption. You can have markets that operate freely and fairly and on solid economic grounds, but we choose not to do that. We choose to just make up new rules and new theories and things like trickle-down economics. And even when it doesn't work, we're like, no, it's actually working. Trust us. It's just working. Why are the rich getting all the money? You're jealous. You're just a hater. Wait, but wasn't it supposed to trickle down? Wasn't the middle class supposed to expand? Why did the middle class get smaller? Oh, shut up, bitch. Work harder. Work 5 jobs. You could be like them if you wanted to. Yeah, no, I get that, but like, wasn't the whole point of this so that the money would be equally distributed? Shut up. And it's like some dude in Arkansas making 38 grand a year, and it's like, oh, I fucking love capitalism, man. This is great. I work my day job, and then I drive Uber at night, and my wife has a day job, and sometimes she drives Uber at night too, and my kids all have to start working at 12 because capitalism is awesome.
Doesn't actually work the way. It's very expensive, and you got to overcome the fact that you may not realize outside of San. Like, actually, I'm not even saying I find them unlikely.
So I want government to take over the means of production. What? James, what? See, I guess that proves my point. See, I literally just said the solution doesn't have to be socialism. I said like regulated markets, and James like, so socialism? This is what I'm talking about, James. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to you. You were just like, yes, I have to live in this shitty rigged fucking system, or else the government owns all the means of production. No, there's a trillion other options between where we're at now and the government owning the means of production. But you won't engage in any of those because, again, another theory that they use and they bash you over the head with, which is the slippery slope fallacy that if you have regulation, then you will have ultimate regulation and it will never stop. Since when? We've been regulating since the beginning of this country, and it stops sometimes, and we reverse it sometimes. But that's exactly the point. Like, it's the duopoly of the way that we respond to things. What would be your solution to capitalism? I believe in mixed economies. Capitalism works for things that you want. It does not work for things that you need, because things that you need can be manipulated and outside of like a regular, like a real, like free market. Like, and when I say free market, I just mean like it apply, like the market principles of supply and demand apply. But like healthcare, for example, healthcare is one of those things that does not work in a capitalist system. We know that because we have the most expensive healthcare in the world by miles, and we're nowhere near the best. We're good. We're good at like research. We're good at innovation, but actually, you and I paying for healthcare, it's far worse than, I think we're like somewhere in like the low 20s as far as outcomes go. There's only one thing we rank at the top of the list at, and it's cost. And then we're number 2 in one other category, and that is wait times. Canada's 1 in wait times. We're number 1 in cost. We're number 2 in wait times. And every other country below us in wait times and below us in cost, for the next like 40 countries, they all do some form of single-payer healthcare. So it doesn't work with things that you need. It doesn't work in housing. You shouldn't allow corporations to buy houses. I don't think you should have developers. I don't think that places like Pulte Homes, Blandford Homes, I don't think they should exist. Like Lennar, they should not exist. We have another problem that nobody's really talking about, and why like housing doesn't work. You know how like our the rates for getting a mortgage, if you wanted to go get a conventional mortgage from your bank, I'm currently selling my house, and the person buying my house is having a hard time finalizing like their rate, and the rates are just really high. But there are builders who have bought up like developed areas, and they privately fund the mortgages. So if you go to one of these builders with these mass developed housing projects, and you go through and you fund through them, you can get like 3% for your mortgage. And they can offer their own types of incentives as well. Problem is, those companies are over leveraged. And those companies have given out all these 3% mortgages. And when we eventually have a crash, they're fucked. And I don't honestly know. Like, I need to dig more into this. I don't honestly know what's going to happen to those houses. Because some of these people that are that have bought houses in these mass developed communities, some of those companies are going to go under. I honestly don't know what we're going to do. I think the government's probably going to have to bail people out. And unfortunately, what I think the government's going to do is sell those contracts to like Pulte or Blandford or one of, some of these big home builders that like can survive this. What they won't do is that bail out the actual homeowners and have the government then guarantee the mortgage, which is what they should do. But that's how I believe our economy should work. If it's stuff you want, like if I want to buy hats, free market. Would I buy this hat for $20? Yeah. Would I buy it for $40? No. Will I pay for my daughter to live? Will I pay $10,000 for my daughter to live? Yeah. Will I pay $300,000? Well, I don't have $300,000, but will I pay that? Will I take on that debt? Yeah. What if it's $1 million? Will you take that on? Yeah, I'll take that on too. What if it's $10 million? Fine, whatever. I literally don't care. Bankrupt me the rest of my life so my daughter can live. It doesn't operate under market principles. Like if my daughter breaks her leg or whatever, like it's going to cost me $10,000, $15,000. I'm just going to pay that. I'm self-employed. I have like some level of insurance through a co-op, but I have to pay like the first $10,000 of that as well. Does that answer it? You're all literal lemmings. Get rid of May. I'm done with May. May can be gone. May's too stupid for these conversations. May, I try to be nice to you the whole day. How are you going to call people lemmings? We're talking about something that literally no politician talks about. Like, no party says what we're saying. This is the opposite of lemmings. This is a bunch of people talking about stuff that not enough people talk about. And you're like, you're a lemming. I think it's clear now, May. You're here to troll, and we don't need that. But anybody else who disagrees with us, please stay and engage in the discussion.
Likable, because actually some of the best and most interesting conversations I've had in business are like hanging out with some Sam, Dario, others. I mean, these are high. Like you talk to Dario, it's a great time, and he does.
We were together at AIG. Yeah, I was going to ask, is Anthropic?
Oh, sorry, I missed this from Phoenix. Alex, white powder enthusiast. People think we're the bad guys, I guess. Carpe. Thank you, Seeking for Hope and Proud Atheist, for your 17 and 12 months of membership. Seeking for Hope for 17 months, Proud Atheist for 12 months. That's amazing, guys. Thank you so much.
Are they friend or foe? Are they competitor
or
partner?
No, again, I mean, most of the things they talk about in public are running on Palantir. So it's like, now, at this scale, we're a nation state, basically. They are... Like we are, and he is the frontier person of the leading frontier model company currently, and he's gone from being way behind to being ahead, and he's a very, very important person, and I'll tell you, he believes what he's saying. I just would say
mute Pierre. Anybody who's just doing bumper stickers, mute them for 5 minutes at a time until they can control themselves.
That push away. He believes all problems I think, and I impute him, or believes all problems of the current, present, and future, are transitionary to a perfect future. I believe that we need heaven on earth, not heaven in 20 years, and I'm very...
If you're thinking to yourself, I must not understand what he's saying because he's saying it with so much confidence. You don't understand what he's saying because it's fucking gibberish. They just speak, and Donald Trump gets this same treatment. They say things that are complete gibberish, and people watching go, oh, they're rich. I just must not understand any of this. No, you don't understand because it's gibberish. What the fuck is heaven on earth? What's he talking about?
We disagree on these things, but doesn't mean that, it's like we don't agree on other things. It's like, they agree on certain national security. We disagree.
It's collab. That's right.
It's not as simple as agree, disagree, bad, good. These are some of the more interesting, important people in the world. I'm betting heavily, and my customers pretty much.
Notice how he speaks of all these people. They're interesting, they're important, they're brilliant, they know everything. He's not telling us why. The self-importance of these folks is crazy.
Much are on my side that,
you don't speak lorem ipsum.
It is not that large language models aren't crucial for the world. It's just the implementation is where the value is, certainly in the next 7 years. And if you want to ask me what's going to happen in 10 years, I don't know. But, the risk of a pathogen destroying us is probably as high as.
All right. I also saw one other thing that let's just go ahead and look at real quick. Somebody said that Obama ruined healthcare and made prices go go up 10x. Let's just show you this. Let's just look at health insurance premiums by year. And this is one of those things. This is one of those times. I don't know who it was that said that, but I want to show you something because these are instead of bumper sticker slogans, instead of repeating something that you heard, you could just look up health insurance premiums by year. Is the one. All right, this is through 2024. This is from the Bureau of Labor and Statistics. Let's go here. This is top is hospital services. Orange is prescription drugs. Blue is professional services. Gray is health insurance. Now, Obama won when? 2008, right? Wins in 2008. These are the prices of health insurance. And this is the rate of growth, by the way. This isn't consumer price index value. You'll see from 2008 to about 2012, it was going down. Still in place. Obamacare is still in place. Then it went up and it leveled off. And it largely leveled off. And then Trump, when you say tried to fix it in his first term, that was when they got rid of the mandate, right? And they gutted Obamacare. And look what happened to prices when they gutted Obamacare. This is health insurance. Straight up. Some subsidies there, straight up again. Drop back down to normal, and we're rising. There is one area on this graph where you can see that health insurance massively increased, and it is due to Trump's policies. It was not Obamacare that did. Look, it went down. This is from the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, by the way. This is what happens when we live in a country where people are so divided that they only believe what the people they voted for say. There is absolutely no data to suggest that what Obama did was the problem. And what Republicans are pointing to is this price right up here in 2023. And they take the highest price and they take the price before Obamacare happened and they say, look how much it went up. And they don't tell you that the biggest spike happened after they gutted the ACA. You can see it right here. Stop believing dumb shit, Republicans. Stop it. And Democrats probably too. But on healthcare, stop it. You're literally rooting against yourself. We need more private health insurance. What happens every time we do more private health insurance? Skyrockets the cost. What did you say there? Olivia said, hard to believe, though, our costs went up under Obama. So this is the consumer price index. So this is the rate of growth, right? Prices go up. So if you look at this chart here, prices are going up always. This is basically measuring sort of the rate of growth because it's the consumer price index, which is adjusted for inflation. So this is rate of growth. So does that make sense, Olivia? This isn't saying that prices went down, rate of growth went down. And you saw that with Obama. I think the rate of growth before Obamacare was something like 6 to 8% a year. And after Obamacare was passed, the rate of increase for premiums was about 2 to 3%. So yes, prices still went up because prices for everything go up. Any president ever saying I'm going to bring prices down is almost always lying about no matter what it is because the price will go up. It's really relative to the value of the dollar, right? Or rate of growth. And under Obamacare, because these are market principles, the more people that are in the market when it comes to healthcare, the more broadly the payments out can be dispersed, and the more stable our pricing can be. My costs went up, and so did healthcare insurance profits. Right? Yeah, and then obviously profit. Like, what do you think would happen if you just took profit out of all of this? Just take the profit out. Why does anybody need to make billions of dollars off of this? You don't. Fair, but I'd have to say the ACA was not beneficial to the middle class. Well, wait, hold on. Middle class people have health insurance, and if the rate of growth was 8% and it slowed it to 3%, let's say 6% and 3%, that's beneficial. That is better than the alternative. Now, I don't like the ACA. The problem with the ACA is that it's still private health insurance. And private health insurance should not exist. It's fucking stupid that we're the only country that does private health insurance for everybody. Like, we basically have a very small amount of people who get single payer health insurance. And that's people who qualify through like a disability generally a disability or age. It shouldn't be for profit. But you can't say that the ACA didn't benefit middle class people, because it did. If your bills go up by 10% every year and I give you some sort of program where your bills only go up 3% a year, that's a benefit for you as the middle class, more so for you than anybody. But again, I wouldn't have done. Obama didn't initially want to do the ACA. He was forced to do the ACA because there weren't enough people in America who would advocate for a true single payer system. So this was like the ACA, if you have to remember, is a huge compromise because the private health insurance companies didn't want to go away. So it was a compromise between them and the federal government. And they made a fortune off of that. And it's funny that, like, when Republicans bring people in to talk about health insurance, they'll bring in these healthcare CEOs and they'll be like, how much did you make after Obamacare? And they're like, we made $100 billion. And they're like, evil. Look how much money these guys are making. Okay, don't let them make money then. Don't let that $100 billion came out of Americans' pockets into their pockets for what reason? No reason. They didn't need to. The government can just run this. The government can cut a check. The one thing the government's very efficient at is cutting checks. So do we need United Healthcare to have $100 billion in profits? Fuck no, we don't. Why would we need them to have $100 billion in profits? We can take those same workers that actually process the claims, the ones that we need. We don't need sales reps. We don't need people in marketing. We don't need people doing like market research. We don't need any of that shit. But the people who actually administer the health insurance and pay the bills, we could just hire them and have them work a government job, give them a pension. Great. All those other jobs don't even need to exist. They shouldn't exist. And we're paying for it. Like, you're paying for it. So when you see these these billionaires from healthcare companies, and people get upset about it, you're like, they earned it. All right. You're cool paying way more for your health insurance so they can exist as billionaires? I would rather have cheaper health insurance and they can find a job that provides value that is real value. Like, that amount of money that they're making for what they do, which is writing a fucking check. Remember, these aren't the people who like give you the healthcare. These aren't the people who are innovating. These aren't the researchers. These aren't the scientists. These aren't the doctors. These aren't the surgeons. These are the people that write a fucking check to the doctors and scientists and surgeons after they nickel and dime you to death. After you pay your $20,000 deductible, after you pay your $35 deductible every time, or copay every time you go in. Keep in mind that the thing that Republicans are fighting for desperately is that people should be able to make billions of dollars for writing a check. They're not needed. They're not necessary. There's a reason we're the only dumb fucking country in the world that does it this way. If it worked, people would copy it. In fact, everybody has been like, what the shit are you guys doing over there? Why are you guys doing that? And the solution from the Trump administration has been, well, what if we tried to force other countries to pay more so it feels more fair? Who cares? I don't care what they pay in Iceland. Make our system better. Take away the profit motive from the health insurance companies. Don't let them sit around and circle jerk with the pharmaceutical companies. Get us all on the same plan and let us collectively bargain. It's an easy answer. All right. That actually transitions nicely. Into our next subject. Just a reminder, guys, we are crowdfunded. Anything you can do to help us knock out our gift goal by the end of the live would be greatly appreciated. I got that from Tanya. Jamar said, helicopters fly at a speed that intercepts ratios. Don't worry about what that means. You're not rich enough. Hey, Howdy said, why do they keep talking about tokens? Because that's how they'll get their money back. Sorry, these super chats aren't showing up on my end. I apologize. Proud Atheist said, it's just Theranos, but no one in prison because men. Oh, that's a good point. There's no difference between what they're doing in Theranos. Okay, I got all those. Let's move on to AOC here, actually. Where did it go? I want her to. She had I can't even remember who this was that she's talking to. Does it say in here? I can't remember. Do you guys know what, does everybody know what Medicare Advantage is? We have Medicare in this country, which is funded by us, obviously. And then we have, like, if you're on Medicare and you go to the doctor and the doctor treats you, he sends the bill into the government writes a check. Somewhere along the line, we decided, for no reason, that Medicare Advantage would be good. And what Medicare Advantage does is what capitalists always say: it gives you a choice. And it does give you a choice that you can either have the government write the check, or you can have a health insurance company write the check. I don't know what kind of dipshit would think that this is a good idea, but in one of those two plans, there's somebody making money off of what you're doing. And when we allowed Medicare Advantage to exist, that also brought in like slimy salespeople who call. I get called every day. I got a new phone number not that long ago, and whoever had my number before was older. And so I get calls like 3 times a day that are like trying to sell me on a Medicare Advantage plan. And I don't even qualify for that. And I say, I'm not over the age of 65. And then they just hang up every single day. But there are people making millions of dollars selling these products. And who's paying them? Who's paying those commissions? We are. We pay the insurance company. The insurance company pays the commissions. So those scam calls those scammy feeling calls that you guys get, especially if you're over the age of 65, just know that taxpayer dollars are funding that. They're funding the wage that person is paid. They're funding the marketing. They're funding the access to the phone records that they're calling you on, and they're going to pay a commission there as well. Just know that's how dumb our system is. That we're paying telemarketers to call old people and scam them into getting a worse plan a lot of the times.
For including my bill in today's hearing as well. And I want to talk about an aspect of Medicare Advantage today that we actually haven't focused on much this Congress, and that's on the agents and brokers who sell Medicare Advantage plans. Now, Dr. Whaley, when someone turns 65, they're often inundated with all sorts of information about the different Medicare Advantage plans available to them, correct?
That's correct.
And so people, you turn on daytime television and...
Let me just, before this goes, MAGA, can you shut the fuck up for a second and be human beings? Even, why are you talking about other shit right now? Why are you in California? Shut up. Do something for yourself. What the fuck? This is what's wrong with fucking America. We're talking about a fucking scam that you're paying for, that we're all paying for. We're scamming old people. We're stealing from the American people. We're giving it to insurance companies, and we can't get you dumb motherfuckers to give a goddamn fucking ever. I can't believe there's people well, in California, there's Medicare fraud. Shut the fuck up. Why are you so obsessed with fighting about politics? They're stealing from you. And you're like, oh, what about over here? They're stealing from you, you dumb motherfuckers. This is why people say Americans are arrogant and stupid. It's shit like this. I can't believe that, just bringing up the fact that all of us are being fucked over, and because it's AOC on the screen, you're like, oh, I better say some bad shit about Democrats. Who the fuck cares? Who's advocating that your taxpayer dollars right now don't get wasted? She is. She's advocating for that, and you're like, I can't take that. I have to be upset about something else. I can't possibly think that AOC might say something sensible. You dumb motherfuckers. I don't know how you became this way, but for the love of God, go outside, slap yourself in the dick, and come back with a fucking brain and some goddamn self-interest. You say that you're patriots, that you care about America. You say you care about fraud. Show it one goddamn time. Show it by not playing partisan politics every fucking time somebody with a good idea shows up on screen. one fucking time, I would like you to act like human fucking beings that care about the person next to you and your neighbor and your family and your children. And instead of, when it's obvious fraud being shown by AOC, you don't freak the fuck out. Be a goddamn adult and just be like, maybe we should listen to the fraud here. Because again, we're all about fraud. We're all about eliminating fraud. Can you just be human beings for 1 second and get off Donald Trump's dick? We're not even talking about that guy. And you just see AOC and you lose your fucking minds. It's why we don't get good things in this country. This is why our healthcare system sucks. There's millions and millions and millions of American dipshits who would rather blame Democrats or change the subject than just address a real problem that affects every last one of us, whether you have health insurance or not. This affects you. You're going to pay Medicare taxes. You're going to pay Medicaid taxes. You're going to pay for health insurance. If you don't pay for health insurance, eventually you're going to go see a doctor and you're going to have to pay for that. This literally affects every single one of us. There's a simple solution to fix this problem, which is single payer healthcare. I've never debated anybody ever who has a good argument against single payer other than socialism bad. And we can't have it because that's how politically divided we are. Just AOC showing up on the screen triggers something in your brain and you're like, I better fucking change the subject. What if she says something I agree with? Then what? Maybe you just be an adult. Maybe you be a human being for a second.
You've got all these celebrities. You've got Joe Namath and William Shatner talking to you about Medicare Advantage plans. You get lots of mail. People really start getting tons of marketing about these plans. And because of the money, the amount of money that these for-profit insurers invest in marketing, many people don't understand, to my colleague from Ohio's point, that Medicare Advantage is not Medicare. It is corporate, for-profit managed insurance, correct?
Correct.
By the way, why do you think they called it Medicare Advantage? Because it sounds like it's Medicare. Why? I don't even know why they allowed it to be named Medicare Advantage. It's not Medicare. That's how dirty the industry is. The health insurance company's like, well, we do want this, but also we want to be able to trick people into thinking it's Medicare so that they'll answer the calls of our sales reps. So can we call it Medicare Advantage even though it's not? Yeah, go ahead, do it. So we just allowed people to get scammed. We set them up to be scammed.
Now, Dr. Whaley, if I'm turning 65 and I don't know the difference between Medicare and Medicare Advantage, I'm faced with sorting through dozens of these plans and marketing. And that's where we encounter this issue of agents and brokers. Dr. Whaley, in theory, agents and brokers work with everyday people enrolling in a Medicare plan that are there to help them pick the best plan for their health.
Ryan can go too. Ryan, that's the 80th time you've said liberal tears are delicious. Just because you don't understand this doesn't mean you need to keep using the same insult. Just go somewhere dumber where you can follow along.
Right? Ostensibly.
I think that's how we'd like it to work.
Ostensibly, that is how it's supposed to be set up. What gets complicated is that the agents and brokers are paid by the health insurers for enrolling individuals in specific plans. That means that their decision-making could potentially be clouded by compensation offered by these for-profit health insurers. And in fact, some of these individual companies, say you have a Blue Cross Blue Shield Medicare Advantage plan, or any other kind of company, United Healthcare managed MA plan, they often will provide these kinds of kickbacks to the brokers that enroll people in their preferred plan, right?
That's correct.
And what are some examples of the compensation provided to these agents and brokers when they enroll individuals in?
Frank, cool. Frank, you have to, your next message has to be, you said AOC is a thief herself. You have to tell us what she stole, and if not, ban. So somebody watch for Frank Pike. If you're going to make claims like that, I'm in a bad mood now. You have to tell us what she stole. And if you don't have a specific example, then you just got to go for 24 hours.
Any given Medicare Advantage plan.
They can include direct fees of up to hundreds of dollars, or they can include things like conferences at ski trips and all that type of stuff.
So like trips, you said, and it's almost like a backdoor commission type of.
All right, Tron, same deal. We're going to do this all day. Tron, I'm just going to expose dumb fucking sexists today. That's what we're going to do. Tron, please tell us what she is uninformed about specifically, or you get 24 hours too. Thank you.
Setup, right?
I think that's a good assessment.
And so you're supposed to have the agents and brokers that are talking to your mom or your grandparent saying, we'd like to enroll you. We think this plan is what's best for you. But what that person doesn't know is that United Healthcare is saying, we'll give you a vacation if you enroll people in our plan. Or we'll give you a couple of extra $100 if you enroll someone in a Blue Cross Blue Shield or a United plan or any other number of plans. And in your test.
All right, we'll take those apologies now, Tron. Said AOC didn't spend $50K on a Bad Bunny concert. Here's how her campaign really spent the money. AOC's campaign spent $50,000 on hotels, dining, and other travel expenses for work in Puerto Rico over the course of several months. Congressman herself did not spend $50,000 alone in Puerto Rico, nor did she spend that amount specifically to attend a Bad Bunny concert. While there's no evidence the representative spent any of the campaign funds specifically on the Bad Bunny concert, her team did not immediately return a request for comment, meaning we could not definitively prove that she spent no campaign funds to attend the event. So we'll take that apology from Tron. Tron, you have to say, I'm sorry. I don't have evidence that she stole or that she spent $50K on a Bad Bunny concert, or you can be gone too.
Testimony, you stated that agents and brokers have received $10 billion in this kind of compensation in 2022 alone, right?
That's correct.
That's $10 billion in taxpayer money. That's being.
Is that waste, fraud, and abuse? You pay taxes to pay for Medicare. $10 billion of that Medicare goes to pay for incentives for sales reps. Is that waste, fraud, and abuse? Of course it is. Of course that's waste, fraud, and abuse.
A lot of it is being funneled through these corporations. And so that is money that is not going to CARE. It's going to.
AOC spinning her wheels on this subject. Of course, people make money on the services they offer. Nobody's saying that people can't make money on the services they offer. And Sweet Kicker, here's the problem. We are paying that money. It's taxpayer money going to them. And they are not. It's not because they're making money on what they offer. It's because they're paying incentives. They're being paid incentives to sign people up for a for-profit system that you and I are paying for. Do you like paying? Are you comfortable with your taxpayer money going to pay people sales commissions?
Perks and trips to Boca and financial incentives.
No, she doesn't agree with the ACA. The ACA is not what she advocates for. She wants single payer Medicare for all, just like me. The ACA is better than what we currently have. It's still a very flawed system that doesn't fix most of the problems. But she and I are aligned. We would like Medicare for all.
Incentives for brokers to enroll people out of traditional Medicare and into for-profit Medicare Advantage plans. That's almost 3 times. $10 billion is almost 3 times what they were compensated in 2014. So not only is this amount a lot, it is exploding. And Dr. Whaley, they actually aren't fiduciaries either, these agents and brokers. So they have no obligation to the people that they are allegedly supposed to help, correct?
Unfortunately, that is correct.
So I have a sensible piece of legislation that would make a lot, and I know there are a lot of good agents and brokers out there, but from a policy-making perspective, we shouldn't be relying on people to just do the right thing. We do have compensation today legislation today that limits and redefines what those caps are so that we can introduce some accountability into this system. And I hope we can have some bipartisan agreement on that. Thank you.
That'll be tough. Lee said, thanks for speaking what we'd all love to say. Appreciate that, Lee. W. Lee over on Venmo for the $50. Kara said, thanks for the rant to the MAGA idiots. Love it. Thank you, Kara, for the $20 on Venmo. And Amber said, I love an RTP rant. Thank you, Amber, for $5 on Venmo. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for helping us be crowdfunded. It means a lot to me to know that we don't get funded unless people at least enjoy what we're doing. every single day. So thank you guys so much. If you'd like to become a paid subscriber and get access to the emojis, the members only events, and or if you just want to support us monthly, we have memberships on TikTok as well as YouTube and Twitch, and they start about $5. All right. AOC has no clue what she's talking about. You don't know. Ban MTS sports cards for 5 minutes. Come back and explain what she talked about. You don't have to get banned. Actually, we'll give you this chance. What is Medicare Advantage MTS sports card or MT sports cards? By the way, sports cards are going well, huh? All right. That was a preview to this. It is an AOC day, and for for MAGA, I'm sorry, and for everybody else,
when the blasting starts.
More Perfect Union just puts out great shit all the time. They took AOC deep into Trump country, and they had her sit down with Trump voters. Similar to what they did with Graham Plattner. There's not going to be agreement on everything, ever. But can you imagine a Trump person going in to a blue district and telling them anything that makes any fucking sense? Where would they find agreement? You can do it with Massey. You could probably do it with like Rand Paul. But the reason I love this video so much is AOC is for some reason your biggest fear. She should be. She's brilliant. She has good ideas. She's right. She has the right solutions. She's not corrupt. She doesn't take outside money, though you guys try and smear her. Like the amount of times somebody in here is going to say that she's worth like $30 million. And you're going to be wrong because she's not. She has basically no net worth. She gets called corrupt by you guys all the time. Why? Because they don't want you to listen to her ideas. That's why I love this video. So they take her in and they put her face to face with Trump people, and watch how hard it is for people who voted for Trump, who hate AOC, who hate socialists or communists. Look how hard it is for them to dislike her or her ideas. We need more of this. This is why I love what Steve is doing with the Do Something tour. I think if Democrats want to ever gain any credibility, they've got to go out and do stuff like this. But this is why the movement behind AOC and Graham Plattner and Bernie Sanders and Mom Donnie, this is why it's working. Because unlike MAGA, who can't go in front of town halls right now because all of the things that they're talking about and advocating for are deeply unpopular, progressives can go out and speak to the people because the people are feeling what they're feeling, and they have real solutions for that. That's why you don't see MAGA do any of this. That's why they're all surrounding Donald Trump. That is their protection. That is their safe place. They know that there's a certain amount of protection if they just keep praising Donald Trump. But if they go out amongst the people and talk about ideas without Trump, they're toast. So about 15 minutes, it'll take a while. We'll stop it, obviously, a bunch. MAGA, try and keep your emotions in check here. I know it's AOC. I know it's a woman. She's smart. It's frustrating. I know you're conditioned to hate her, but maybe pay attention to how hard it is to hate her when it's face to face. And I would bet that if a camera were on your face and you were sitting across from AOC, I would bet this would go the same way for you too. It's easy to hate behind a keyboard. It's easy to say dumb shit. But if we put a camera on you and a camera on her, you wouldn't say that. We know that about you because every day we tell you, you can come up here and talk to me, and you won't. You'll never put your voice behind it. You'll stay in the comments where it's safe, where you can do your bumper sticker talking points. And you'll never publicly defend any of this shit because you don't know any of it. You don't even know how to criticize her. So I'll play the video.
It went on a couple of months. My sister-in-law's ceiling come crashing down.
Nobody from Amazon has bothered to say one word. It was 3 blasts a day, 7 days a week for months.
Real McGoy said, facts, we can't just rely on people deciding to do the right thing. True.
This is unbelievable.
What happens when you take Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez to the heart of the data center revolt?
And they're just trying to say that no one should cover this?
Yeah. And I'm sorry, but I'm on a Social Security check. I can't afford to do that.
You didn't blow up your ceiling.
No, I didn't.
William wanted to clear up Medicare Advantage is also called Medicare Part C, Part A for hospitals and nursing facilities, Part B for durable medical equipment, D for drugs, C for Advantage. It's actually messed up. Thank you, William, for the information and the $5 over on Venmo.
To know how voters who feel politically homeless,
and raise your hand if your electricity bill has gone up and your water bill has gone up.
from the black suburbs of Atlanta
Are the local politicians supportive or what?
to conservative rural communities,
This is not a party issue, this is a people issue.
That's right.
So it doesn't matter what party you are, it's wrong.
how are voters going to respond to a Democratic socialist from New York?
People want to call me woke, whatever. This is about power.
With the Trump administration pushing for more data centers,
The AI race is a big deal. The construction of colossal data centers. We have to get this stuff built.
where does that leave regular people like Beverly Morris?
Well, I feel trapped because I have no way out.
How is the backlash against a data center boom the key to unlocking America's politics?
We've never been more polarized. I just think we got to show up in these places and see these things for ourselves.
Guys, we're talking about this video right now. If you guys, MAGA, I know you're freaking out right now, but if you're going to try and change the subject and talk about Somalian fraud, we'll just mute you, okay? We're going to stay on subject today.
Well, do you want to show us there's been some damage to your house?
Of course.
Yes, I'm woke. We got that cleared up.
Sure, come on.
Pamela Felder purchased her dream home 3 years ago.
So the first initial thing I saw was the crack in my porch. Wow. All the way across.
All was well until explosive blasts started to shake her home earlier this year.
It sounded like someone picked up my house and went boom. A week after that, that's when I started seeing cracks all throughout my house. And I found out they're putting a data center in my backyard.
The 2 million square foot hyperscale data center is being built less than a mile from Pamela's home.
You can still see where the paint is ripped all the way up my stairs. I noticed the ceiling that looked cracked across there.
My dad worked in construction, so
he did?
so if I look like I'm really sticking my nose
No,
in here,
I don't care.
Thanks,
I
Sophie.
want you
taking
to.
a real look. And your neighbors are experiencing the same thing.
We were all sending letters out to the blasting company.
And what are they saying when they deny it?
They said my house was settling.
Oh, so everyone here's
Everyone's
house is settling
settling
at the same time.
At the same time.
Pamela's neighbor also came by and insisted we see a giant sinkhole she said was caused by the blasts.
Makes you want to cry. No one's listening. Why a data center? Why now? Why here?
Unprecedented amounts of money are behind the race to build. Meta is investing $600 billion in data center infrastructure through 2028.
It's crazy that your last name's Darwin, Chris, but like, OMG, it's a data center. Do you not have insurance? Are you siding with the data centers right now? What are they complaining about? Who cares if somebody comes in and does a bunch of blasts and it fucks up your house and creates sinkholes? Do you not have insurance? Jesus Christ, man. Did you ever get off that capitalist dick? Let them do whatever they want. Oh, I'm sorry. You got cancer? Don't you have health insurance? God damn, man. There's something wrong with you Republicans. This is the problem. Like, you guys are so caught up in this duopoly that you're just like, and binary thinking that we're talking about a company fucking up people's houses. And you're like, well, should they have insurance? Private companies should be able to come in and blast and fuck up your house, and you should have to pay for it through your insurance. Yeah, they have deductibles. I don't know what the insurance company covers, but I promise you the insurance company is going to be like, yeah, we're not covering that. Go sue they're going to tell them to sue the data center. That's crazy. What is wrong? Like, honestly, how do you become a person who says that publicly? Oh, boo-hoo, your house is falling apart. That's capitalism, baby.
OpenAI has pledged over $400 billion. Even the real estate company responsible for this site just closed a $3.25 billion funding round.
If these tech folks love these data centers so much, put it in your backyard.
That's right.
It's a capitalist country. No, it's not, dipshit. It's just a country. We can have any economic model we want. It's not laid out in our Constitution. But dude, good Lord, man. Good fucking Lord. That was your response to the criticism. My criticism of you is that you're mocking the people who are upset their houses are being destroyed and siding with the data company. And then you're like, well, that's what it's like. So you're just like, I want a shitty country. I want to have no rights. I think companies should be able to fuck us all over. It's a capitalist country. God damn, man. Read a book, dude. Just read any book. Start with the Constitution, actually. It's not very long. Start with that. Let me know when you find capitalism in the Constitution and get back to me. But holy shit, man. Have some class consciousness. This guy Fox says, I don't get why they're putting data centers in drought-stricken areas and in population centers. It seems intentional and malevolent. Yeah, it doesn't matter if you hurt poor people, right? Nobody cares. They don't. Their money. They don't get campaign dollars from poor people. That's why.
Right. Or
You put it in your backyard.
Put it away from people's homes.
Didn't I call Marjorie Taylor Greene crazy before she turned on Trump? Yes, and I still think she's crazy, for the record. That doesn't mean she's not right sometimes.
Why we're saying we need to slow the roll on this, because they're moving fast. We're just saying pause it so that we can move forward in a more just way.
That's right.
In a fair way.
Yeah, for everybody.
For everybody.
Yeah. You're welcome. Thank you for your...
But far from the black suburbs of Atlanta is much Trumpier country, and the idea of AOC isn't as enthusiastically received.
There's some really extreme liberal views out there.
Chris's response to that was, I found republic, not democracy. Cool, bud. Cool. I don't know. Maybe we went too far. Don't start with the Constitution. Start with Dr. fucking Seuss, man. I don't know. Go back. Do you know what words mean at all? I don't know what to do with you. That's such a crazy fucking answer. Can you tell me where you find capitalism? I found republic. Cool. Like somebody like, go to the store to get eggs. I came back with a stick. Is that helpful? I didn't even go to the store. I went down to the park and I picked up a stick from the ground, and I have returned with this stick. Could you crack this stick? Could we have scrambled stick for dinner tonight with a side of stick? Jesus Christ, dude. I don't know what to do with you. That's crazy. Are you still here? Can you explain what just happened in your head? How you got to that response? How did that happen? How did your brain even go there?
When I met her, I asked folks what they knew about AOC's politics.
Just from an overall view, very fringe left.
I'm probably a lot more conservative than she is.
How are your politics evolving? And
They're evolving.
I'm not real impressed with the politics on either side.
We first met Beverly Morris and her husband Jeff last year when they showed us how the
Thank you, Hoofy, for the $2 holla. This guy Fox. Oh, I got that one.
Construction of a 2.5 million square foot Meta data center is contaminating their drinking water, a charge which Meta denies.
This is my cold water pressure in the kitchen.
So you can see the sediment from the data center.
And this is what's in all the pipes, too. They should be...
That's capitalism, baby. That's conservative values, baby. Socialism is scary. Your water's brown. That's probably the socialists pooping in my water. It's capitalism. That's unchecked capitalism. Unregulated capitalism. They only care about money. They don't care if they kill you.
Responsible for that.
That's the republic. Oh, there we go, Penny.
That's what I was talking about when I said that's the republic. This is the republic, which is Spanish for capitalism.
Us.
when we were here last year with them, Meta was still building this data center, but now it's operational.
I worry about using the water for everything.
Yeah.
I don't use the water for cooking anymore. I did for a while, you know. I thought, oh, you know, I've got to use it.
Right.
I wouldn't drink it. I haven't drank the water here in
I mean, it should
years.
be, I mean, this is my view, but it should be a right for you to be able to turn on your tap.
Nice.
We have to win the AI race. It's very important. Data centers. Data centers. I don't like when I can't chew my water. I like my water with a bit of crunch in it. That is some severe brainwashing from you people. You're like, I'd rather die than have a Democrat be right about something.
And drink what comes out of it.
The Morrises aren't alone. Other residents also came to us with stories of their contaminated water.
This is the sediment that it's picking up. The cold water pressure everywhere is pretty bad. You cannot take a shower and wash dishes, or take a shower and...
Define republic.
Capitalism. Thank you.
Shane said, Chris Darwin, a republic is a form of democracy. You turn up of huge magnitude. You're the problem. You need a lobotomy, not a book. You need a hug and a long explanation about words.
Fill up the horse's water. You just can't.
Our refrigerator broke. Our HVAC broke. We have issues with the pool. So anything that's water related, we have issues with. And this is the filters from the filtration system after we pull it out. So.
And you used to change those filters once a year, or?
Yeah.
And
typical. All right, one top. Unless you want to be subjects of China, we do need to win. How would we be subjects of China if they win the AI race? I'm looking forward to your explanation on how we would suddenly become subjects of China. Thank you.
Probably 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
And now you're doing it once a month?
Yeah.
But you feel stuck, right? You feel like you can't, even if you wanted to move, you can't.
No, not and be able to get the value that we've put into our home.
Well, let's keep going down the line here, Connie.
Our fight is in Coweta County. We just had a large parcel of land rezoned for a data center, but we don't know who it is yet that's coming.
And I'm Tina. I live in Oxford, Georgia, and it's the Amazon data center.
We're not just fighting Facebook or Amazon or any of these data centers. That's not who we're fighting. We're fighting the entire institution that allows it.
They think people aren't paying attention. They'll go sniffing around, jiggling every door handle to see what county they can push these things through on.
It is necessary. I understand the need for it, but the manner in which they're going about it is not only wrong, it doesn't even make sense.
I don't blame Amazon. I don't blame those businesses. I blame our government. That's who's supposed to be taking care of me. My commissioner.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Our government's supposed to stand in the way, not bend the knee and suck the dick. Stand in the way of this. But we got some donations, so we're just going to let them fuck everything up. It's good to hear these conservatives understand the role of government. It's nice to see, isn't it?
Should have been looking after our community. Our governor should be looking after our state, like it goes up. A business is a business, and it's about making business, and they don't care what they're doing to people.
Right.
They don't, and that's a shame, but they're greedy and they don't care.
That's the way it is, yeah.
We appreciate you taking the time to come here about it. Because
I agree. Like, you blame both of them, but you don't have any control over what they do, right? You do have control over what the government does. And so the government is responsive to us. They're not. And that's what I mean. Like, there needs to be, like, these things do need to be addressed. If we deregulate to the point where they're allowed to do this, then it's the government's job to solve that. They're not going to. And you think they're going to solve their own problem? No, they'll kill you. They don't care. Everything's just a numbers game to them. It's dollars and cents. If you die, what the fuck do they care about? They don't even think about that. Like, when they're in their meetings every single day, if somebody came in and they're like, 30 people died. Okay, are we getting a lot of public backlash for that? Some. Is it hurting our stock price? No. Well, okay. Let us know when it hurts our stock price, and then we might kick them back some money. But until it hurts our stock price, we're not going to do anything about it.
Well, someone at a national level gets really serious about it, nothing's going to happen.
We should be starting congressional investigations on the effect on these and figuring out with precision how we protect our water supplies, how we protect your power bills and water bills, and keep people from getting sick.
I love that. I'm sorry, but if you're relying on anyone for anything, especially the fucking government, then you're a fool. Well, then get off the fucking internet, dumbass. How the fuck do you think you're talking right now? How are you messaging right now? How did that happen? Where'd you get your education? How do you get to work every day? Do you own a car? Do you drive on roads? Who do you call when somebody comes and robs your house? What do you do when your house is on fire? What happens when another country wants to go to war with us? Like, that's the Republican. Like, just think about things. There's anything that you're doing, fucking think about it. Don't just say shit. That is remarkably fucking stupid. You rely on the government every single day, and you have to. That's why we have a government. That's why we have the United States of America. That's why it's not a fucking free-for-all. That's why there's states. That's why there's a president. That's why there's Congress. That's why there's judges. What if I come and steal your car? What are you gonna do?
Well, I'm certainly not going to rely on the government. I would never call the police. I would never go to court to sue you.
What are you talking about? You just don't like me and AOC, so you're saying dumb shit. Don't say dumb shit. Don't be mad that we're pointing this out. These are all conservatives sitting with AOC. Be more like them. They can all get along. They all recognize that they are powerless. And their only option is petitioning their government, which is what they pay taxes for.
If you pay taxes and then you use the services you pay for, you're a bitch.
What are you talking about? It is laid out perfectly. Let's do this for conservatives real quick. We're just going to read this. You tell me if you've heard this before. Okay? We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution of the United States of America. That was the founding fathers establishing a country and a constitution that would establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, and promote the general welfare. That's what they're talking about here. Ensuring domestic tranquility, providing for the common defense, and promoting the general welfare. It's literally the whole reason we have a government, and somehow conservatives have been duped by capitalists like, actually, the government is the problem. So you should hate the government and let us fuck these people over. Okay, I'll do that. The government is a bad thing.
50 miles away from the Morrises, a group of residents successfully pushed for a moratorium on a 95-acre data center project.
Now, wait a minute. Where do I know
Sorry,
you
real
from?
quick. I think before you speak, lost in translation, the real McGoy. Anthony Stoner said, we are surrounded by idiots. And Alexandra said, MAGA will only open their eyes once they experience a rude awakening. They need some humility and survival instincts. Take off those beer goggles. Can I offer one other solution? This is going to be unpopular. I live around MAGA. Some of you live around MAGA. It's hard to get through. Don't quit. Keep talking. We can't be watching this video of AOC connecting with MAGA voters and then say MAGA voters can't connect. We can't connect with MAGA voters. Yes, in the chat, it feels that way. But just like these folks, if they were talking to AOC like I'm talking to them right now, like if AOC was on this camera and they were in the chat, they wouldn't be like this. Somewhere along the line, we have forgotten to be human. And I think there's a fair criticism of me that when I cover this shit, that sometimes I go too far and I belittle people and it doesn't help. And I think that's a fair criticism of me. And I'll probably do it for the rest of my life. And then I'll feel shitty about it later. I regularly feel shitty about some of the things that I say, to be fair. I try to apologize when I think about it. However, I will tell you that I talked, in fact, every Monday night, well, most Monday nights, myself, my girlfriend, go to a Mexican restaurant, and we just happen to, because they go there every weekend. There's a friend of mine that I've played golf with for years, who he and his wife are deeply MAGA. And we have dinner with them every Monday night. And most of the time, we don't talk about politics. Almost exclusively, we don't talk about politics. My girlfriend doesn't want to talk about that necessarily. Like she feels like there's like certain times when it's better. So like we generally don't talk about that when we're around other people unless a specific subject comes up. It's not politics in general, but like situationally, if we're talking about a subject. My friend, who is MAGA, is friends with some of my other progressive friends, and they fucking hate him. And they fucking hate him because of the way that they argue with each other. And people are always surprised that he and I are friends. And the reason that he and I are friends is that we actually have the conversation, we hash it out, and we let each other talk. And he's going to be MAGA forever because he's socially MAGA, but his views have changed. In fact, you can look this up, but he spearheaded an initiative at the golf course where I'm at to reduce the amount of water that we use. We are the only golf course, like my golf course is full. It's a membership, so we all collectively own a golf course, and the membership is 95% MAGA. I like MAGA. These are like mostly people who have lived in Mesa for a long time. Old money Mesa. They've owned this golf course for a long time. For the record, I got really lucky in becoming an owner. Like most of them paid $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 for their ownership stake. I got it when I was in my 30s, and I paid $1,000. So they're all kind of mad at me, and now we have equity. But collectively, as we saw like the water usage rates skyrocketing in Arizona, we have a drought problem. We have reduced the amount of water we use by 60%. We spent our own money, invested in a different type of grass that comes from Georgia called Tiff Turf that takes 60% less water. We don't have to overseed, meaning like in Arizona, there's like 2 different types of grass that everybody has. You have Bermuda grass and ryegrass. And in the winter, you have ryegrass. And in the summer, you have Bermuda grass. And every like twice a year, you have to kill the old grass and let the new grass grow. And then you have to heavily water. So you can actually, I think like ABC did a segment on this. You could probably look it up. But my friend, as we talked about conservation and the importance of that, we've talked about climate change. He believes in climate change. He spearheaded that thing, that whole project. And he's changed his views on trans people. Used to be the most transphobic person I knew. And the only reason that those views have changed is because I won't engage with him online, because I can engage with him in person. And if I engage with him in person, then it goes well. And if I engage with him online, it doesn't go well. And that's why the other friends hate him. So I would just say that like, I understand that's fucking hypocritical coming from me who engages with you guys online. But I will say this, that like, I don't believe a single one of you MAGA who say this shit to me. I don't think any of you would say this shit if we were one-on-one. Not because you're afraid, but because I actually think that deep down, most people are humans. And I think it's hard to communicate in this way via a YouTube chat. But I do think that if you and I sat down one-on-one, I think every one of you, we would leave and you would probably like me. That's kind of what happens every time we bring a MAGA person up here. Almost never does it end in them crashing out anymore. A lot of times it ends in them like messaging me for weeks. There's a couple of guests that have come up and they still message me all the time. It's like, what do you think about this? And they appreciate that we can have a conversation. That's the only thing I wanted to add here is that like what AOC is showing here is, one, if you have good ideas and you can meet somebody in person, a lot of times those good ideas spread. And sometimes perhaps we're too chronically online, which is fine. I don't actually have a problem with that. But in your own communities, like, you do have to reach out. You do have to bury some shit. Like saying somebody voted for Trump so I can never speak to them. I'll get some pushback here, but I don't think that's the right way to fix anything. Maybe you don't want to be part of the solution, but you can't just dismiss everybody because of who they voted for. It doesn't work. You can see it right here in real time. Nobody's hated more than AOC. Every one of these people knows who she is, and all they know is that they hate her. They don't really know what she stands for, and she shows up and she listens and she finds common ground, and that's how our country was supposed to work. No, you're not supposed to pass bills that everybody loves, and you're not supposed to be able to like write a bill and get it your way. You have to compromise. That's how all of this was intended to work. Somewhere along the line, we've decided compromise is the enemy.
From you?
I'm a congresswoman from New York.
Oh, come on. Yeah, you my girl, you know.
This is terrible timing, but Asa Sophia said MAGA have scrambled sticks for brain. Even my 70-year-old mother has commented on how she sees many Americans being very dumb, arrogant, and far beyond empty-brained. I have to agree, after watching U.S. politics for decades, since 2016, it went downhill from the golden escalator. I agree with that. I would just say that the loudest voices generally are the wildest voices. I don't know that always. I don't think the chat represents all the MAGA that I know.
We organized because we know what we want in our community. And they did not anticipate that when they had the Board of Commissioner meeting, that hundreds of us were going to show up. They couldn't deny us. They had to stop and say, wait a minute.
Across the country, more than 50 local data center moratoriums have already been enacted, with dozens more proposed or under consideration across the US. But this patchwork approach has left a lot of communities vulnerable.
We're in a neighborhood that's in unincorporated Clayton County, but just over the fence line is the city limits of Forest Park, and that is where the facility is being built.
Wow, okay, all right. So the county has a moratorium,
yes,
but the city does not?
Correct.
Wow. And so the city, even though the city's inside the county,
Correct.
It's not covered. Hoo-wee.
Yes.
All right, talk about a loophole.
Yes.
For now, the local fight continues.
The community has said, we want walkability in our neighborhoods, we want clean air, we want clean water, but we have to keep fighting.
You don't trust the government with data centers, but you trust them with 100% healthcare? No, Ron, I don't think you understand what Medicare for All is. No, Ron, and I'm going to be nice here. Medicare for All is single-payer health insurance, not healthcare. I would not trust the government to dictate what care I get. I would not trust the government to dictate to my doctor what the doctor can and cannot do. I don't like that. That's kind of a Republican thing, right? Like you guys are trying to legislate a lot of stuff that doctors can and cannot do. But no, I wouldn't trust them. That's why I don't like the UK's system. I don't like when the government is the one paying the doctors like their salary. I'm not a fan of that. I like doctors, if they're all being paid by the same insurance company, which is us, then I do think that doctors likely will compete based on how well they treat people. And then you have like a true market. And you can go see whatever doctor you want to because there's only one insurance company. So no. And also, the government isn't building these data centers. These are private data centers. I think that this is one of those instances, Ron, where I feel like you just want to argue. Like you don't want to get the point here. You're going out of your way to just like try and be argumentative about two things that I don't think you like. I don't think you understand what's happening in this video. These are private companies building data centers and the government's doing nothing to stop it. And we're asking the government to protect the water and the houses here. And then you're like, but you trust them with your healthcare? No, I don't do that. And AOC doesn't advocate for that either. She also advocates for Medicare for all. Same thing I do. And that I think that's kind of like illustrates the point that we're talking about today, right? Is that I think some of you just want to argue and be on that team. I don't know that I don't like. I would appreciate if you brought to the table like some of your beliefs or some of your suggestions so we could discuss that. Real McGoy said, I completely agree with you. More and more they stay MAGA and their views slightly change. In the end, we all want what's best. I do agree with that. I do think MAGA people want what's best. I just don't think that they're being given any good information. And I think mostly what they're fed is left bad, capitalist good. I don't think that they're getting much information. Dracos, thanks for being here. 10 months. Blue Chew, 14 months. Brondo, it's got what plants crave. B87 said, relying on people to do the right thing is just trickle down for dummies. Fair. Blue Chew said, capitalism brought to you by Republic and guns. And Real McGoy said, I think before you speak, lost in translation. I think I got that one already. Did I miss any other ones there? Jacob, thank you for the $50 over on Venmo, said, I think billionaires are a different species. I'm calling Homo sapien sessenti. Sessenti equals billion. They are a predator species that we should eradicate like the Neanderthal. That's obviously crazy, and I wouldn't rule it out. Yeah, that's not that bad.
It's like a continual fight. It's like we're surrounded by piranhas, that just keep trying to pick at us, but we just keep fighting.
In March 2026, AOC and Senator Bernie Sanders introduced legislation at the federal level called the AI Data Center Moratorium Act. It's both a response to growing opposition to these facilities, but also about the need to establish...
At one top, I think, thank you very much for engaging with a good question. I like that question. What is my preferred economic system? I am in favor of a mixed economy, which we already have. But I think that if we identified the principles in a way that made more sense, so we didn't have to guess so much, You'd obviously like it's more complex than this, but broadly speaking, if there is something that you want to buy, it should operate inside of capitalism. And if it is something that you need, like a house or water or healthcare or education or police or military, then that should be operated by the government. You can call that socialism if you'd like to. I think that both capitalism, you can see, like we're kind of in late stage capitalism now, where all the money and all the power has shifted so far to a small percentage of people that if we had an oligarchy 5 years from now, if I told you that 5 years from now we would have an oligarchy, I don't think anybody would be surprised. It's gone too far. The same can be said with you can look at Venezuela. You can look at Russia. I think Russia's maybe a better example. Now they've been crippled by sanctions, but what happens in countries where they have more socialism than we do, that can also be corrupted. The big lie is that one of those two is more corruptible than the other. That's the big lie. The truth is, you need the people to be involved. You need a government that is responsive to the people and responsive only to the people. In Venezuela, for example, even though I would say that most of the economic conditions that have led to the problems in Venezuela are not self-inflicted problems, that they are mostly sanctions, what did Maduro do? Maduro kept a lot of money for himself and his friends. Like, there were a lot of powerful and wealthy people that were unwilling to suffer with the people of Venezuela who were suffering. And so even though I liked the idea of what they were doing with nationalizing oil, eventually, when it comes down to it, people are going to be selfish and they're going to take care of themselves and their own first. And that's what you had with Maduro. That's what you have in a lot of these places where we try and sanction the fuck out of socialism. And then we point to the leader and they're like, look, they kept all the money for themselves. In both scenarios, it ends up the same way. I just think that, again, it's this stupid divide that we do. I have the same criticism of socialists or communists that I would of capitalists, in that, like, if you play this out, it's corruptible. So you need to keep the absolute corruption at bay as long as you can, or with whatever types of balances that you can. I think that's why it's a good solution to say, if you need something, let it be free market. If you need something, have the government take care of it with taxpayer money. If you want something, have it be free market. I think that would be a very general way that you could handle our economics, but it would make the most sense. I don't know if that answers your question.
A nationwide policy about their construction.
Our responsibility is to take care of people, and that is what we're here to do today.
What you're proposing is a national moratorium.
Yes.
No, James. Maduro didn't make his country poor except for the drug runners. This is the problem here. You're doing propaganda now. Tell the whole story. Maduro wanted to nationalize the oil, meaning that the people of Venezuela would share in the profits of the oil, that they would pay, that would pay for their education, for their infrastructure, for investment in other industry. And the United States got pissed because the private oil companies here in the United States that were making a bunch of money in Venezuela were going to be cut out from that deal. And so the United States sanctioned the fuck out of them. 80% of their economy is oil, and the United States bought 50% of that oil. And when we stopped buying their oil, that means 80% of their economy we took half of. They lost. I don't know how that math exactly works, but 40% of their 80%. Plus, then we told other countries they couldn't buy oil from Venezuela either. And so almost overnight, Venezuela was unable to sell oil. So then they had to shut down oil production. They couldn't make as much oil because they couldn't even sell it. And so their plan to use the oil profits to build up the infrastructure of their country was crippled by us. And then Maduro, and what he did that was corrupt, then he said, well, since there's limited money, I'm going to take care of me and my friends because there's not enough money to go around anymore. So I'm going to pick and choose who gets money. And he and his friends are living very cush lives while people while people in his country are literally starving to death. Tell the whole story. And that's the problem that we have. The reason that we don't get that whole story from our government is because our government doesn't want to admit that we had a big part in this. Just tell the whole story, and then it makes more sense. But we can't do that.
And it's, it's not the same thing as an outright ban, but it's saying we need to meet some basic protections for people We need some guarantees.
Sorry, to go back. Chris, yes, when you say, is their country not already doing better? Yeah, because what we did is the United States went in and stole the leader. And what this administration is telling you is that removing Maduro is what is allowing them to succeed. But only because the United States dropped the sanctions and is buying the oil from them now. We weren't buying their oil. We took Maduro. Now we're buying the oil. We could have bought the oil from them when Maduro was president, but we didn't because socialist. And now with the new government, we've basically told them, hey, look what happens if you tell our oil companies no. Look what happens to you. We will crush your economy and we will kidnap your leader. And so the new leadership's like, fine, we don't like whatever, you win. You're more powerful than us. You proved it. You win. Okay, you can bring your fucking oil companies in here. We have no other option. We bent them over. And the crazy thing is you're not benefiting from this. You're getting nothing from this. The oil companies in this country are making a fortune off of it, but you aren't getting shit. So the Venezuelan people got fucked. Many of them died just so that we could force our oil companies back into their economy. So yes, they're doing better, but they could have been doing better if we bought their oil and we didn't prioritize oil companies. And by the way, when we stopped buying the Venezuelan oil, that caused the price of gas to go up for you because there was less oil in the market. So prices went up. This is very simple stuff. This is where like the two-party system fucks us over, is that you want to support what's happening now because Trump did it. And you want to count this as a success for Trump because you are playing a team sport of Trump versus. But if you step back and you just look at the picture, it's pretty fucked up that we did that, right? It's pretty fucked up that we killed. I mean, we're responsible for people starving to death in Venezuela. We're responsible for people fleeing Venezuela and dying. And then we brought them here and then we treated them like shit. So like, we're culpable too. Yes, Maduro chose his friends and his family over his own people, and that's fucked up. But we also put him in that position, and that's also fucked up. So who are the fucked up people here? Maduro and the government and our government. So maybe both of those governments don't do that. Right? Maybe we stop invading other countries or crippling other countries because they choose a different form of government than we choose. Most of the Venezuelan populace disagrees with you. No, they don't. No, they don't. Find me one Venezuelan who says that the reason their economy crashed wasn't because of crippling sanctions. I'll wait. Cite a source. And you're just doing the same shit. You're just doing Trump shit again. They disagree. You got polling on that? Find me a poll that says most Venezuelans think that their economy was crashed by Maduro and not by its sanctions. Go find that for me and come back.
On your water, on the air that you breathe, we need to make sure.
Cite a source. Every one of you that's criticizing me right now, cite a source. Give me the data on that. Go ahead, cite a source. See how mad you are? You're just calling me names now. Cite a source. You've been told that. Be honest with yourself. You don't have to respond in the chat. Be honest with yourself for a second. Where'd you get that piece of information? Where'd you get it? You heard somebody say it. That's it. There is no source for this. You heard people say it. You might have seen a video of Venezuelans talking about it. You might have seen a video of people celebrating, and you just assumed that whatever was said on that video was true. Find a source. You've been told that, and you believed it because you're an ideologue.
Sure that the jobs that stand to be wiped out, that there's a plan for that, and we're not just leaving people, out to dry. And we need to just have some really basic common sense protections for people.
The bill would require a building moratorium until the federal government passes laws mitigating job losses, preventing utility rate hikes, and establishing environmental protections, among other things. The question is whether this is enough to persuade conservative voters to support someone far across the political aisle.
Do you think that people here could get behind someone like AOC and her ideas for AI and data centers?
I think they would get behind anyone who was going to fight for their rights to clean water and to live their life without dealing with this.
Now the tide on this is starting to turn. The politics on this, because everyday people are starting to catch on to what's going on.
She may be on the left, but on the data center issue, seems more centered and genuinely concerned about people. And that's refreshing to hear.
How do you wrap your head around addressing this at the national level?
We need to put people first, and we need those protections to be ironclad and guaranteed before we can have a conversation about what does and doesn't get constructed.
Do you think that this is an issue that could maybe pull our country together?
I don't know if it's going to pull our government all together. It's pulling the people together.
If there's a chance that anything can be done, I feel like she is going to be the one to do it.
Days later, AOC showed Beverly's water samples to an EPA water official testifying before her committee.
I have a jar right here. The only difference between the clean water and this was that data center. I have another one as well. This is what the drinking water now looks like next to that data center.
Thanks, bro. Welcome. I said I hope you take care of your mental health because you're doing serious service. I do. And I have honestly, like the best audience I could possibly ask for. And when I get a little low, I take a couple days off, and this audience is very receptive to that. So, but I appreciate that and welcome.
And I think both of us can agree that neither one of these things are drinkable.
So as soon as I get back to the office, I will be looking into exactly what you've just talked about, because anywhere, whatever type of construction it is a priority to ensure that water quality standards established by EPA are being met.
There are a lot of people with a lot of money who don't want to see this thing slow down. They're like, the train's moving fast, we can't afford to stop, doesn't matter, we'll figure it out later.
I've been in a lot of political fights that have seemed insurmountable before that we've won.
1, 2, 3.
No data center.
I just don't believe in impossible. I just think that, if you think something's impossible, it's just that's an imagination problem.
We're going to keep following this story. If you have any tips for us, please reach out at stories@perfectunion.us and continue to follow our reporting in the months to come. Before you go, please support our work by liking this video and subscribing to our channel. We're always looking to tell more stories like this one, unpacking economic systems that impact all of our daily lives. Are there other issues you want to see us cover? Sound off in the comments, and again, don't forget to like and subscribe.
All right. I loved that. I hope you guys like that. Let me do this real quick. I'm going to apply. I want to show you guys, see if this works. I want to show you the oil production in Venezuela by year. And there's a lot of people saying a lot of things. But let's just, again, let's look at the data. This is by barrels daily. This is oil production in Venezuela by barrels daily. We sanctioned them. Is this Venezuela? Let me make sure this is right. Where the hell's Venezuela? All right, that was worldwide. Let me find Venezuela oil production. Damn it. Sorry, guys. Everything's behind a goddamn paywall. I might not be able to find it. Everything's behind a paywall here. It's weird. Trying to find it. I can find their oil production, but not from like 20. I need it from the early 2000s. What's this? All right, I may have to just add it tomorrow. I'm going to have to get behind a paywall. We'll do that tomorrow, but we can look at oil production. It's pretty easy. It'll be pretty easy to see, like, when they're like, you can take the years of with their oil production and their oil sales and their oil revenue, and then you can compare that to the when we put sanctions on them. We can just go through that. Thank you, Adam. I don't know if you're making fun of my glasses or not, but I'll take it as a compliment. Shane said they will also never tie the Venezuela immigrants to the actions of the U.S. because that would prove Trump was at fault, which is crazy because Trump has admitted that himself. Good point. Proud Atheist said, reminder, you can have free markets in socialism. That's true. It's just that in those free markets, the workers also own their production, which you can obviously still have free markets. The real McGoy, I think I got that. Okay, I got that one. Let's check with Jen. I think I got all those. Awesome. How much time do we have? We got about an hour left. Okay, cool. We got more time than I thought we had left. Thank you guys so much. You've been very generous today, helping us knock out the gift goal. We got about an hour left. If you guys want to help us knock out the remaining balance of that, that would be greatly appreciated. I want to get into... Yeah, let's do it. I want to get into this. Well, I do need to show the Marjorie Taylor Greene clip, actually. Let me do that first, since that's the title. We'll go there. Here was Marjorie Taylor Greene yesterday on with Caitlin Collins. And somebody said, like, you used to call her crazy. Now you think she's sane? No. We just agree with her on this one. And I think that what she says here to Caitlin Collins, I absolutely agree with. And if you don't agree with this, I would like MAGA, let's have a good discussion. Why what she's saying isn't true? Why is what she's about to say somehow crazy?
The American people's trust. As a matter of fact, we should consider them as they should be considered traitors. They're traitors. The ones that refuse to release the Epstein files, want to cover up for pedophiles and rapists and all sorts of disgusting things in these files. Those are the traitors to the American people, and they should be ashamed of themselves.
I mean, this report basically says it was the president who didn't want anything released. Are you saying that applies to the president himself?
I'm saying exactly that. He told me on the phone that his friends would get hurt, and that's why he's against releasing the Epstein files. And I think we've seen a lot of that dribble out. So, yeah, it all matches. It completely adds up. From the phone call that I had with the president to this report that is coming out, it totally, it all lines up.
I mean, it's pretty remarkable to hear you say that you think the president is a traitor.
What is remarkable to me is that this administration, people that we voted for, demanding transparency, the man that campaigned all over the country claiming that he would be the one to drain the swamp, is the very man that fought to keep the Epstein files from being released. And then he in turn called me the traitor because I fought to release the Epstein files. You know, many people have turned...
I want to be clear on that. He didn't call her a traitor to the country. He called her a traitor to him. Donald Trump's worldview and the MAGA worldview is that Donald Trump is the only thing you can be traitorous to. Like, ignoring the Supreme Court, that's fine. Ignoring courts in general, that's fine. Breaking every norm, benefiting from the office, all the things that they do is fine because it's in deference to Donald Trump. The only thing MAGA ever believes is traitorous is opposition to Donald Trump. And the country has been replaced by Donald Trump for the MAGA movement. Any criticism or lack of fealty to Donald Trump is therefore somehow treasonous or traitorous, which is crazy because last I checked, they all swear an oath to the Constitution. We do know that these people who work for Trump are asked to swear an oath to him. There have been enough people coming out of the Trump administration who have said that they took loyalty oaths. I think that we can confirm that at this point. And then you see how he speaks. You see how MAGA responds. Why do you guys hate Marjorie Taylor Greene now? Because she said that Donald Trump was in the Epstein files and was covering it up. Before that, you loved her. Why do we like her now? Because she's saying what we agree with. I don't know. I wouldn't say that I like her now, but I agree with this. That's fair. But I don't think on this side of the aisle anybody has said criticism of Joe Biden is treasonous or traitorous. I don't think that happened with Obama. Maybe. I don't remember that. But disagreeing with Donald Trump is what most of the time what I get called a traitor for.
And said, oh, she's a Democrat now. I'm not a Democrat. Nothing changed about my views. I'm unapologetically America first. As a matter of
Oh, this was a good attempt here. Blake said, both sides are full of shit. The two-party system is an epic failure. Corruption is thrown in our faces. At least conservatives are willing to come to the table. The left like to riot and burn. What the fuck are you talking about? I just showed you a 20-minute video of AOC finding middle ground. What are you talking about? I think that you're cowardly. Like, I think you don't know how to defend MAGA. That was a silly thing to say. Like, all the left likes to do is riot and burn. What are you talking about? That's silly. I agree the two-party system's failed. I agree with a lot of what you say. But what exactly is MAGA coming to the table with? What are they presenting that we're supposed to find middle ground on? It seems like they just are like, you have to obey Donald Trump or fuck you. Neely, the Vampire Slayer, said, last term MAGA all carried around copies of the Constitution. Now they ignore it when Trump violates it. Yeah, they may not have read it. Colin said, thanks for the super chat. Tony said, I'll never knowingly break bread with a Trump voter ever again. It's a morality issue for me. That's fine. I think that there's people that have that opinion, but you're not part of the solution. So if you're comfortable with that, that's fine. But just saying that I will never speak to somebody who voted for Trump is not part of the solution for sure. I don't think that fixes anything. I think that's kind of for you. And you cussed, so I'm out. Yeah, well, fuck off then. Sorry. Eat a dick on your way out. Nobody gives a shit. Be tougher. I can't handle cussing. Gotta go.
In fact, I've taken off the Team Party jerseys. I don't want anything to do with any of them. I'm straight down the line, strictly for the American people. But it's been shocking to people, many people that voted for Donald Trump, many people that voted Republican, that they would actually follow through to try to cover up the Epstein files. And that's the part that everyone just can't even understand.
Mike, it's not an opinion, it's a fact. If you knew anything about the law, we don't release grand jury testimony. Yeah, we do. We release grand jury testimony all the time as long as you meet the specifications to release it. Like, if you can go on YouTube right now and type in grand jury testimony and you'll get grand jury testimony. We do it all the time. You just certain ways that you have to go about getting it released. It's crazy, man. You have a lot of really strong, bad opinions that are not based in fact. Real McGoy said, I'm not a MAGA and I want to say there needs to be more approaching the MAGA the way you do instead of insulting and attacking them. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think that's I was given that criticism by somebody from a really outside perspective who just consumed my content, not on here necessarily, but like on Instagram and its clips. And that's what they said. They're like, it's divisive, it's belittling. And I was like, I get that actually. Like if I was watching this, I would understand that criticism. So I'm actually trying to be better about that. I'm not always great at it, but I do agree. I think that like our emotions sometimes do have to be set aside. It's hard. It's hard to understand different perspectives. Like for those of you that might be new here, like I was born and raised a Christian conservative Republican. I worked for the Republican Party. My first real job in politics was working on the Romney campaign. I was an elected official in the Republican Party. I was a precinct chair. I was a state delegate. I worked for a couple of think tanks. So I was like a dyed-in-the-wool Republican. And the way I wound up over here is one, admittedly, Donald Trump was a big part of that. That was a catalyst. But I had progressive family members who kept talking to me. One specifically, and I don't know, she sometimes watches the show, but I had one specific progressive family member who, no matter the things that I said, and I said some bad shit. Like I made the argument that if gay people got married, then that was a slippery slope, and then you'd marry your animals. I made the argument to my gay cousin that like he could go ahead and sign a contract to be with his partner, but you can't call it marriage because marriage is between a man and a woman. Like I was all for the war in Iraq and the war in Afghanistan. There was no opposition from me there. I had some pretty bad views, and my cousin, who turned out to be correct, I asked her recently. I was like, "Why did you keep talking to me?" Like there were other members of our family that she just stopped talking to and kind of cut out. And I was like, "Why did you always talk to me?" And she's like, "Because you kept talking, and like you would look at the stuff I would send you." She's like, "I was confident that what I was sending you was true, and I just thought at some point you would read enough and you would change your mind." And that's what happened. I just kept reading. And then when Trump came around, I kind of branched out. I started looking at libertarians, Gary Johnson. I liked some of the stuff he was saying. I think I've told you guys this before, but I spent like 2 straight weeks. It was like 6 hours a day. I've never been into video games, but I played Red Dead Redemption for like 2 straight weeks when it first came out. And I sat there and would play for whenever I didn't have my daughter. I was playing Red Dead Redemption. I had just sold my company, so I wasn't working. And I would sit there and I would listen to debates, like political debates, mostly Vosh. I would listen to Vosh debate, and I hated Vosh. That's when I first started. I was like, "Fuck this guy. He's so arrogant, and he's condescending." And then I just kept listening. I was like, "Well, he is winning these debates." And at first, I was like, "He's just a good debater. He wins because he's a good debater." And then I started looking up the stuff he was saying. I was like, "Oh fuck, he's also right." And so, like Vosh, ironically, is like how I became very progressive. Trump drove me out of the Republican Party. But Vosh is how I became progressive. I haven't listened to him in a long time. I would love to meet him one day and just tell him thank you, because his ability to debate really opened my eyes to different ideas. And I don't even know where he's at. Like I don't even know where his views are. I don't know if we're super aligned on our views or not, because I haven't listened in a long time. But I can't really look at MAGA or any Republican and be like, that person's irredeemable, without looking back at myself and be like, okay, so am I irredeemable? I have like a different viewpoint there. I understand for those of you who say MAGA is irredeemable. I also think that if you have grown up around progressives your whole life and you haven't grown up around Republicans, it is really hard to understand how they can have these viewpoints. But they can have these viewpoints because the people that they go after, the LGBTQ community, black and brown people, immigrants, those people don't live in their community. You look at the voter makeup of Republican counties, like it's white, it's rural, or it's white and it's suburban. You don't see a ton of people with a diverse ethnic diversity in those communities. And so it's easy to dehumanize people that don't really exist to you, right? You just see them on TV. And I've told this story before too. Like my opinion on black culture was basically the rap music that I listened to and consumed. But at the same time listening to the rap music, I was judging the people. Like I would listen to Fuck the Police, but I was like, but I back the blue. I love your music, NWA, but don't say Fuck the Police. Back the blue there. And then I grew up a 90s kid and an early 2000s kid. So like, fuck Allen Iverson. Why has he got tattoos? Wear a suit. Show some respect. I bought into that thug culture thing too. And so, that takes some deprogramming. It's hard to deprogram all that shit. I'm lying. Yeah, for sure. I'm just making this whole thing up. Yeah, for sure. So, I don't remember how we got there, but people can change. I believe people can change. And there's people that I've met through this job that were MAGA at one point and who changed their views. Even people who didn't change their views on everything or switch parties, they've changed their views on certain topics. I had to move to Japan to deprogram all this shit. Yeah, I had to just be. I wound up working in a lot of different states. I've lived in 30-something different states. I'd have to count them again. But one of the places that I understood, like, the the economic disparity between like white and black communities was when I lived in Charleston, South Carolina. I actually lived in Goose Creek, if any of you guys are from there. And you know that in and around the suburbs of Charleston, South Carolina, there are black neighborhoods and there are white neighborhoods. And the black neighborhoods, when I was in those black neighborhoods, heavily policed. You could see like the roads were never as in good a shape. The parks were never in as good a shape. The schools were never in as good a shape. The stores, like you could see, they're black-owned stores. Like there was the public sidewalks were trashed. And you go into the white neighborhoods with the same, because I was selling. I was working for a security company at the time. I was selling door to door. I was selling security systems. And so when I'm going in and selling these systems, like we're running a credit check, which we can kind of assume the value of the house as well. So I'm going into neighborhoods that economically were the same. But if you look at the resources that were put in by the government, it was obvious that the resources put in by the government in the white neighborhoods was substantially different than the money being put in by the government in black neighborhoods. And if any of you are I mean, there's people that live in other cities, but if you know Charleston, South Carolina, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about and they can be a mile apart from each other. In some cases, a single road splitting them, and you go into the white neighborhoods, and it's just totally different. But economically, they're kind of in the same state, right? Or I guess the same bracket. So that a lot of traveling like made me understand things differently. And I would get into play. I lived in Virginia Beach. If you've lived in Virginia Beach, like you know the difference between Virginia Beach and Newport News and Norfolk, and what is it? Hampton? Is that what it is? You can go look at the different neighborhoods there. Same socioeconomic conditions, and it'll be totally different. You know that's true. Or they're just trashing it. What do you think they're doing? You're going out there with a fucking pickaxe and trashing the road. You think they're like, do black people like stomp and so they destroy the sidewalks? Does grass grow faster in black neighborhoods? Or when the parks are overrun with weeds, is that because black weeds grow faster? Like, what are you talking about? See, and this is the cognitive dissonance that you have. You don't want to admit that this stuff is real. So like, are you sure that's what it is? Listen to what I'm saying. I'm talking about structures maintained by the government in the same city, in the same zip code. And the structures maintained by the government in black neighborhoods and white neighborhoods are different. It's not the same type of care. I think at the time when I was doing this, I probably would have thought the same thing you're thinking, for the record. But like I've been educated by some really intelligent people who have explained some of this stuff. I mean, I didn't grow up knowing what the fuck like sundown town was. I had no idea about the South. Like I honestly grew up thinking like racism's not a real thing. Like I've got a black friend, the one of 3 black kids that went to my school. I don't hate him, therefore racism is bullshit. It wasn't until like years later when I sat down and had lunch with him and he was like explaining to me like all the shit that he dealt with. He moved into my school from Atlanta in like his sophomore year. And there was so much shit that I've told these stories before, but like I didn't even realize was racist. Like at the time, people would say the N-word all the time at my school, all the fucking time. They would make jokes. They would make like jokes, race jokes, and we all thought it was cool, right? Because we didn't care if he made a white joke, but we'd make a black joke. And never in my mind did it occur to me that like, okay, there's like 3,000 kids at my school, 2,997 of them are white, 3 of them are black. Maybe a joke about black people when they are outnumbered by 2,997 hits a little bit differently than the one of 3 black kids like making a joke. Like maybe there's like some power dynamics here. I didn't ever think about that. Kid was like, he wasn't mad about it, but he was given a starting spot on the football team. He was a terrible athlete. He showed up on day 1 at practice. They had him starting varsity running back. The kid that they put him ahead of got a full ride scholarship to SMU like a year later. So there were just things like that like it never registered to me because I wasn't diverse. There was no diversity of thought. There was no diversity of how people looked, and there were power dynamics. So it's just like traveling makes all that stuff different. That's why blue cities are progressive. Blue cities are progressive because there's lots of people. And when there's lots of people, there's a lot of different people. There's people from different countries. There's people from different socioeconomic groups. There's conservatives, and there are people that come from conservative backgrounds and progressive backgrounds. And when you're forced to live amongst each other, and the population density is so tight that you wind up just being far more accepting. Right, your next door neighbor, like where I grew up, my next door neighbor, there was like a 0% chance my next door neighbor was going to be gay. In fact, two doors down from me, the guy with the dad of, they had like 9 kids, came out, and he was when he was in his like 40s. He's like, I'm gay, and he left his wife, and he lives with his husband now. Everybody abandoned that guy. Like everybody fucking hates that guy now. He was closeted his entire life. There was no safe way for him to come out. So that never would have happened. But I moved to New York City. Like the person next to me it could be totally unfathomable to me, the way that they grew up, maybe their beliefs. And I'm just going to get to know them because they're right there. And I'm going to realize that it's just a human being. I don't need to hate that person. That person's not threatening to me. But the unknown is very scary. I grew up being very afraid of the unknown. So I think maybe I have some compassion, or not compassion, empathy, sympathy. I don't know what it is. They're wrong. It's wrong, but I do think they have to be coached out of it. Maybe that's the best way to say it. William said, first class dollar train. Thank you, William. Robin, thank you for sending your Antifa dues. James Brown said the local government is the key of all issues. I do think we don't focus enough on the local government. I agree with that. Okay. Got those. Okay. Moving on. What did I just play? I played Marjorie Taylor Greene. How much time do we have? 30 minutes? Okay. Let's get into this fucking insane interview with Donald Trump today on Fox. First of all, he's lost his mind. For all the olive branches I've just tried to hand to you, MAGA, we have to be honest about Donald Trump. You're not going to like what we have to say. This is a crazy person. And I don't know that I don't know where we're going to find middle ground here. If you can listen to these clips from this interview and tell me that he's got it together, please come up and give me a compelling argument for that. But first, Donald Trump talking about Iran. And we're now talking about bombing their infrastructure, their water facilities, their roads, their bridges. Those are war crimes. We're just openly floating it. Pete Hegseth's like, yeah, we're going to do war crimes. Our government is just openly threatening to do war crimes every single day now.
You came to power because you said America wants to win, and you win. Even in 2020, more votes than anyone.
That's a good point. He did back down because Donald Trump is a fake tough guy. He's a massive pussy, and he always backs down. But it doesn't change that what he's saying here is crazy. The fact that now he has backed down makes this even more crazy, to be honest. Like, why would you act this crazy if everybody knows you're just going to back down?
In the history of the Republican Party. So when you look at this seems to be like an anaconda. You're saying laying the groundwork and just subtly squeezing them more and more and more until they have no options. One of the hits yesterday, as our audience probably knows, is on a water facility. They were already running out of water. So if you can continue to blockade, and now you're...
That is a war crime. This is Fox News. Like, why don't we just make sure that nobody there has water? Well, who's not going to have water? Poor people. Or is the leadership going to have water? Yeah. So you're just killing innocent people to get their leadership to do what you want. That's the evil. Like, how do we not recognize this as evil as Americans? I don't know how we dismiss this so easily. I don't know how we're so capable of being like, well, that's war. It's war. We got to kill innocent people. And what a terrible way to die too. Not having access to water. Even if you don't die, like what a terrible existence. You're going to get sick, dehydrated, your body shuts down, you get organ failure. This is just pure evil. And why? Why are we doing it? Because some people chanted death to America? Cam said, I grew up with similar dumb views, just without the religion. A white Republican family somehow, despite being in LA. Where were you? Maybe you were in Huntington Beach? Grew up with 90s rap and lived in a largely Mexican community. Never mind, not Huntington Beach. 2016 Bernie helped shatter the conditioning.
Taking down their eyes and ears, you're letting them know you're not playing games. And the rhetoric that's been coming out of them for the last 8 weeks really looks hollow today.
Well, Brian.
Okay, first of all, Brian's like, hey, let's do war crimes. Let's make sure to do war crimes. And you tell me if this is a sane person. Fox is like, hey, Jump on board with us. Let's cheerlead war crimes. And you just tell me if this is the same person, but not before I say James said. My wife is a city council person where we live. That's why I say local government is the key. W. James' wife. Thank you. Now you just tell me if this answer makes any goddamn sense for what they said.
If you can hear me, I think you can.
Yep.
I will say that, first of all, you mentioned 2020. You're right, in 2020, I got more votes than anybody in history, Republican Party, and I got more votes, but the election was rigged. But in 2024, I really got more. We made it too big to rig. And but we did great in 2020. It was a rigged election. And
Sir, this is a Wendy's. What? They're like, you should do some war crimes by bombing their water and their infrastructure. In 2020, I lost the election. It was stolen from me. In 2024, I was so popular, it was too big to rig. What? We're pretending. Why are you guys pretending this is a sane person? That's not even close. That is not even close to what they're talking about. Are you guys out of your fucking minds? Can somebody, MAGA, will somebody please restore my faith in you? Just raise your hand if you're MAGA and say, this is crazy. That's not even close. Just one of you, could you acknowledge something? Just be honest for a second. Just acknowledge reality. That's nowhere close to what they asked him.
you saw it in California. Very interesting, if I could just divert. So the kid got, the shaft. And he did, Spencer Pratt, he did really pretty damn well. And they threw him out. And it was happening to Steve Hilton, and I went on a tear. And they said it was going to be 2 weeks, and they'll know about Hilton, whether or not he's going to make it. I went on such a tear that they approved it immediately. They approved Steve.
What? This doesn't make sense. Let's ignore for the fact that they, for a second, that they asked him about Iran. He said Spencer Pratt got the shaft because they counted votes. Then he said that California said it was going to take 2 weeks, which they didn't. That's when the vote has to be certified, not completed. And once you have an insurmountable lead, they'll call the election, but they're still actually counting votes. And Steve Hilton was ahead of Tom Steyer by enough that they could conclude that his lead was insurmountable. And so they called they called Steve Hilton as second place, and now you will have Steve Hilton versus Betrayal, which sucks. Sorry, California, you got two pretty shitty options. Well done, really good job. Let's bring in a corporatist Democrat and run him against a corporatist Republican. This will go well. Fucking idiots. California, get your shit together. You could have had, I know Tom Steyer is a billionaire, but he was the only person like, let's tax billionaires more. You didn't have any good options, but like the one like decent option in this, I mean, you had Katie Porter as well, which she's got her issues, but Tom Steyer had a real shot, and you guys went, but how do you pick the worst one? Out of all the people on stage for the Democrats, how did you wind up with Becerra? I don't get that. But either way, Trump now is saying, I threw such a fit that they approved Steve Hilton. What do you mean approved? What does that even mean? This is a crazy person. He thinks that him bitching about the election caused California. Who approved it? Who's he even talking about here? Approved what? They just kept counting, and then the votes were insurmountable. Why do we have to keep doing this with you guys? Why can't we all just admit he's got to go? This guy has no fucking clue what's going on. We can't get rid of this guy. I don't want J.D. Vance to be president, but good Lord, it'd be nice to have somebody whose sentences made sense. At least J.D. Vance will be able to disagree with him. Trump, it's hard to disagree with. He doesn't even answer the question. We don't even know what he's talking about most of the time. Are we really going to are you going to do the thing that you accused us of with Biden? You ignored Biden's mental decline. True. A lot of people did, including myself. I was late. Admittedly, I saw Biden. I was like, he's slow. He has a speech impediment. Most of the time I could figure out what he was saying. Sometimes I couldn't. It was very clear when he debated that like he wasn't as sharp. Like it took him a long time for the words to get there. When the words came out, like I knew what he was saying. But this is crazy. None of you can tell me what he's saying here. Don't do the same thing that you accused us of doing.
Such a rigged deal. It's so crazy. They approved him so fast because everybody was watching. And he was leading, and it was leading by a lot, and you saw his lead was dissipating rapidly. They were taking it away from him just like they took it away from the kid. And I went on a tear. And by the way, we have the U.S. attorneys looking at it. And
looking at what? Again, we did this yesterday. Like, the whole complaint in California is that it takes a long time, therefore fraud. That doesn't make any sense. This has just turned into such a pathetic I've seen Republicans my whole life. There's been some pathetic shit, but like the entire thing is now just grievances. The whole party platform is, what is Donald Trump upset about today? Let's all make sure to go defend Donald Trump because he's crying about something today. Nothing's going well for you. It's just the loyalty to this guy. James said, I'd love to talk to you about things sometimes. Yeah, James, if you ever have something you feel like maybe we disagree on, you should come up. We should talk about it. I think we could have a good conversation.
Week said all of a sudden, we have a surprise. Steve Hilton won. And he did win. But they were going to take it away shortly. They were going to take it away over a 2-week period. You know, they announced that they wouldn't have the results for a week to 2 weeks. All of a sudden, they approved Steve Hilton.
But Iran.
No, they didn't. That never happened.
It's a rigged election.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's get back to
I shouldn't
Iran.
have brought that up. But how do you feel about Iran?
But let's get back. I just want to say to the public, it's a rigged election. We need the Save America Act. Period.
Got it.
Okay, let's get back to Iran. Much simpler.
All right, so let's see. Let's get to Iran. This gets even more. This also is crazy. Like the Republicans used to pretend that they didn't run shadow governments, and they used to pretend that they didn't try and overthrow governments. This administration is doing something unusual. Not only are they saying that the people of Iran rose up against the government, but they're also admitting that they caused that revolution, which they didn't used to do. And I guess in some ways we can say that this is transparency. I guess that if you want to look at it in the nicest way possible, maybe this is transparency. But for anybody who thinks that this was all just that the uprising in Iran and the 30,000 people they alleged that were killed that tried to take over the government, anybody that thinks that was just like a grassroots movement in Iran, I don't know how you could possibly think that anymore. Israel has admitted to funding it. Israel has admitted to infiltrating it. Israel has admitted to stoking the anger. Israel has admitted to selling them arms. And now the United States is Trump's just on the record being like, yeah, we tried to pay off the Kurds and we gave them a bunch of weapons to try and overthrow the Iranian government.
So can you get them weapons, Mr. President? Can you get them weapons?
Provide air cover?
Well, we actually sent them weapons, and we were very disappointed by the Kurds, to be honest with you.
They're just saying it now. Michelle, thank you. The $10 there over on Venmo. I appreciate you.
The Kurds let us down. I disagreed with the decision. You know, I was saying, no, I don't believe they'll deliver them. I think they kept them for themselves. I think it's a disgrace. But I'll remember that, Kurds. I'll remember that. But they have some gun.
Trump is saying that we tried to get the Kurds to overthrow the government, and then they just took the weapons and kept them. I believe him. They're so bad at this that they can't even finance and dictate a rebellion. I guess the Republicans in the past, at least they could accomplish it. Nobody respects them. The Kurds are like, yeah, totally. Send us those weapons. We'll do it. They send them, and they're like, nah, changed our mind. They're just openly saying it's weird. That's how free Donald Trump is from ever having any repercussions for anything he does. He just openly brags about the crimes he's committing, the corruption, and you guys are like, yeah, but it's both parties.
But you know, they don't have the weapon. Look, even if they had some, they're petrified. Because this is different. This isn't like in this country. If you shout at, you have a vicious group of people rioting someplace. If the police shout at them, they end up ruining the policeman. You know, they ruin him. They take away his badge. They take away his
in Iran,
family,
they give him a medal.
His life, his pension.
Let me go back to this. What is he? Can somebody explain it? MAGA translator. What is this?
They end up ruining the policeman.
Go back.
In this country, if you shout at, you have a vicious group of people rioting someplace. If the police shout at them, they end up ruining the policeman. You know, they ruin them.
What? Explain it. Steven. Any MAGA. What's he talking about? In countries like Iran, if the police shout, they take their badge? What in the world is he talking about? Please, MAGA, while you're here, please engage with me. I know you're having a good time debating in the chat. Please. What in the world is he talking about? None of this interview so far has made any fucking sense, except for the part where he vaguely said, we gave our weapons away. That's not waste, fraud, and abuse, by the way.
They take away his badge. They take away his
In Iran,
family,
they give him a
his,
medal.
life, his pension, his everything. They
Even the ghost, he kill me. In Iran, that's not what he's saying, Brian. I think he's saying that in Iran, they, like, if you're the police and you yell at protesters, they take your badge away. Kilmeade can't figure it out. They're on two different pages. Is Kilmeade saying that in Iran, if you yell at somebody, you get a medal? He's saying the U.S. police can't even yell at people? What is he watching? I have no idea what he's on about, and you guys don't either. You can't explain. Why do we have to translate this shit? If he was a sane person, we wouldn't have to guess.
take away his car.
Mr.
It's
President?
slightly different. Over there, they shoot him, and the rallies dissipate very quickly, as frankly, I think is pretty normal.
Is he saying that we should just shoot protesters? Is he siding with Iran? Is this crazy guy saying, like, maybe we ought to do more like Iran and just shoot protesters? It's not the first time he said it. But then that'll be a story, and MAGA will be like, fake news. You took him out of context. What did he really mean? I don't know. I'll wait until I hear Jim Jordan explain it, and then I'll repeat it. Here's a good look into Trump's mind. Like, Donald Trump, for the record, does not give a shit about any of you. He thinks only in terms of dollar signs. This was a bizarre claim.
Announcing you're going to hit them very hard tonight. What went into posting that?
Well, it's just one of those things. They have no defense. They can't do anything about it. The only thing they have is fake news. You know, they have the New York Times write stories like they're doing great, and they're not. They've been wiped out. CNN and that MS Now or whatever they call it nowadays, NBC had to get rid of it because it was bad for their reputation. But the publicity they have is incredible. It's almost.
She asked him. Remember, if we go back, where are we at? We're at 31 seconds. And just remember the question she was asked.
Announcing you're going to hit them very hard tonight. What went into posting that?
You posted that you're going to hit them very hard tonight. What went into posting that? And then he talked about the New York Times and MSNBC. Was he bombing the New York Times and MSNBC?
Publicity they have is incredible. It's almost like they're doing well, and they're getting decimated, just decimated, and they're dying to make a deal. They want to make a deal so badly. But, you know, you read the New York Times and you read the Wall Street Journal, which is so fake.
But she asked what went into your decision to tweet last night that you were going to bomb them. Is that what it sounds like? He's telling the truth again, that the reason he wanted to bomb Iran is because the New York Times said they're doing well. That's insane. You bombed them because the New York Times said they're doing well, and you wanted to prove the New York Times wrong? That's actually probably okay for MAGA. Like, MAGA's probably okay with that. Yeah. Murder Iranians to own the New York Times.
Yeah, I mean, I know you guys own it, but it's a real piece of garbage. And you read the Wall Street Journal, it's like they did an editorial today about we're not hitting them hard enough. I mean, it's just not hitting them hard enough. We dropped $250 million worth of bombs on them last night. You know, the whole thing is crazy.
Well, what did we get for that? Then he backed down today. So what did that do? Somebody said he's sundown hard.
And they're really in submission. They just don't know it yet. Okay, to be honest with you, they just don't know it yet.
Okay. I noticed that you guys are having a hard time explaining this. I noticed that none of you want to engage in this. Just kind of want to go after me. All right. Then there's him again complaining. All he has done in this entire interview, they keep asking him real questions, and he just complains about media coverage. Like, bro, if you want to be in media, go be in media. What are you doing being president? Why the fuck are you so focused on the media?
Mr. President, so I get the impression that you're frustrated with Iran.
I'm not frustrated. I don't get frustrated.
Well, I'll say it this way.
He's immune to frustration. Don't you say that. I would never get frustrated. I'm perfect. Good Lord. Everybody gets frustrated, man.
That is almost an ultimatum now, that there's no more negotiation at this point. You went back and forth with them. You gave them 2 weeks. And now they have to take the deal that you have offered them, that you tried to negotiate in good faith, or everything goes and the people can be liberated. Is that what's happening right now?
Well, that could happen if we want to keep going. And, the deal is a very good deal. The problem with the deal is that it could be the greatest deal in history. They could wave the white flag of surrender. They could.
Okay. They asked him about Iran. He said it sounds like you're frustrated with Iran. Oh, I'm not frustrated. Okay, if you're not frustrated. You offered him a deal, and you're basically saying, like, you got to take this or else. Now, we know that he backed down on that. But instead of talking about Iran,
they could wave the white flag of surrender. They could say, we surrender, we're finished, we've had it. The United States is the greatest power. Praise be to Allah. And they could do all of this. They could say it loud and clear, and the fake news would say it was a great victory for Iran.
What a fucking sociopath. He's worried about how the New York Times will cover this. Even if I do solve it, and people are still going to be critical. Yeah, bitch. The fucking president. What do you think? You know who else had to deal with that? Every fucking president ever. Every fucking one. But you know what they didn't do? Cry all goddamn day. Can you answer a question that they asked? Like, even Fox News can't get an answer from him. This guy goes on the friendliest place on earth to him and can't do anything but bitch about the media. Good Lord, we're not a serious country.
It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. We're killing them. It's killing them. They have no Navy. They have no Air Force. They have no anti-aircraft. We're flying planes over the middle of Tehran, and they have no idea what we're there. We've knocked out all of their radar, all of their anti-aircraft. Much of their missiles, they have probably less than 20%. We think about 20%. Most of their launchers, they have the missile launchers, which are quite important. Their drone capacity is way down. You see it. I mean, it's way down. Their attacks are very minor. They're finished.
Okay.
And yet,
but they asked you about the deal. What would happen if they didn't take the deal? And you just told us they lost. The fake news media is bad.
The fake news, just like with the election, the fake news is out there saying,
fuck. You would never be friends with this guy. None of you would hate this person if he was in your life. You would hate somebody who just cries. Every time you try and bring up anything, they're like, everybody's unfair to me.
Wow, Iran is doing just so well. Trump is doing terribly. I watched it yesterday, one of the shows for 5 minutes. Haven't seen the show in a long while. This fake Joe Scarborough talking about how well Iran is doing. I'm saying, where do they come from? It's just the craziest thing.
Yeah.
And
Aware of truth. I get it, bud. If you don't like my content, you can go somewhere else. You're just complaining. Go start your own stream. If everybody else is doing it wrong, that's what I did. I didn't like some of the stuff I saw, and I'm like, I think I can do a better stream. And I started my own stream. Go start your own. And if it works, great. Maybe I am wrong, and you'll have a massive stream. You'll do great. But that's like the 30th time you've just like broadly complained that I'm not talking about what you want me to talk about. Go do it. This just made me laugh because there's legitimate criticism you can loft at Graham Plattner, but Trump is dumb, and Trump doesn't like his vocabulary is like a 4th grade vocabulary, and so he doesn't even really know how to criticize Graham Plattner. So I just wanted to show this because whatever you say, I think there's varying opinions on Graham Plattner here. Some people like him, some people don't. Some people accept his apology, some people don't. I think there's you can have whatever view you want. I don't think anybody's is necessarily right or wrong, but The way Trump talks about Graham Plattner makes me laugh.
See if anybody. I watched that thug that's up in Maine. He's a thug, and they're trying to make excuses for him. I mean, he's worse than any human being that's ever run for office, probably.
Graham Plattner is a thug, first of all. He's a fisherman. He's a veteran. And he's the worst person ever to run for office. Donald Trump endorsed Roy Moore, a pedophile. Graham Plattner's the worst person to run for office and a thug. I think maybe he just doesn't know. And watch the I forget her name. She's horrific. She thinks this is hilarious. What is her name? I watched a clip from her this morning. McLean is her name, I think. So I think she's Florida. Terrible.
I don't know him. I don't want to say bad, but I just.
I don't know him. I don't want to say bad. You just called him a thug and the worst person ever to run for office, but you don't know him and you don't want to say bad things. Got it.
I mean, nobody's ever had a record like that. And you.
A record of having a Nazi tattoo? Nazis, David Duke ran in the 90s as the Grand Wizard of the KKK on the Republican ticket. David Duke. That's worse. Pete Hegseth. If Graham Plattner's tattoo is a Nazi tattoo, so is Pete Hegseth. This is crazy. The problem that all of MAGA has right now is that the reason Graham Plattner is popular and the reason he can withstand this type of criticism is because he has ideas and he has a message that resonates with people across the board. And so people are overlooking the negatives about Graham Plattner. If Graham Plattner wasn't running on get money out of politics, Medicare for all, stop funding these forever wars, stop funding Israel, he'd be cooked right now. The only reason Graham Plattner is still winning, and didn't even get like 70% of the vote in the primary. The only reason, by the way, against the sitting governor, a popular sitting governor in Maine. If he didn't have great ideas that the people desperately wanted, he would have been buried a long time ago. Whatever you want to say about him, good guy, bad guy, in the middle, wherever you land, worst person ever to run for office, a thug. You guys are running out of shit. This is the worst person to ever run for office. I think like every accusation you could that I can think of from any other president, any other candidate. And now David Duke's worse. I take that back. Worst person to run for president, legitimately. David Duke was worse. Roy Moore's maybe worse, depending on what you want to believe about the accusations against Trump.
You don't have Schumer. He goes crazy over this or that, or Epstein. This guy. Why are they talking about him? He said, well.
Is he saying that Graham Plattner is worse than Epstein? That's fucking crazy. Boy, for a guy who openly embraces Nazis and had Nazi speeches or Hitler speeches and has Nazis on his staff, he has a sudden problem with a Nazi adjacent tattoo that makes them worse than Epstein?
We don't know, but this guy's got a rap sheet. I've never seen anything like it. He's a thug.
He doesn't have a rap sheet. He doesn't have a criminal history. Guys, he's lost his mind. Notice how quiet MAGA is right now? They ran. Did you guys leave? Are you seeing what we're seeing here? Who's better to fight Nazis than an ex-Nazi? That's right. Graham Plattner, well, he was never a Nazi, but Trump, I wouldn't say is ex. I don't know which one you're talking about.
I know thugs. I had to deal with thugs. I built a lot of buildings. I dealt with the toughest people on earth. I dealt with worse than thugs. This guy's a thug. He's a low-level thug. And he's running to be a senator, to work with Eric Schmidt. Great, Eric will handle him, I think. To be with Barrasso, who the hell do we have to be with Rand? Now, Rand would be very interesting with him. Rand would figure it out, he'll put him away. But
what is he talking about? Now what the fuck is he talking about? Rand will figure him out, he'll put him away. Huh? Steve will take care of him. Huh? He's sane? This guy's sane? We're going to keep doing this?
But this is a thug. He's a cheap, no good person.
Well, that's rude.
And I watch these senators, the Democrats, and, well, we don't really know. You do know. He's as bad. I've never seen a person like that run for office. And
You have an actual criminal record. You actually read Hitler's speech. Yeah, the Hitler speech is next to your bed. You've been accused more than 20 times of sexually assaulting women. The accusations, by the way, against Graham Plattner are that he cheated consensually, and that there was a couple people that said they made him uncomfortable. And you should listen to that. And you should listen to what they say. But comparing Graham Plattner's record to Trump's, it's not even close. Trump's record's way worse.
the guy from Texas, different, but he's terrible too. He's terrible. He's a radical left communist.
James Tallarico. We can't even get James Tallarico to buy into Medicare for all. And he's a radical communist. This is crazy. You guys, we're cooked. We can't keep doing Trump shit. We can't keep doing MAGA shit. We can't just have a president who sits up here and babbles incoherently and misuses words. We can't be a world power anymore. They got to take it away. Somebody put this guy in a room and do a simulation. We can't do this anymore.
But I watched this guy this morning, and he was so bad. He was so bad. He's a bad guy, just a bad guy. He must be laughing up his sleeve when he looks at these idiots going like Schumer, well, he's okay, he's okay. He's not okay. Can you imagine if the Republicans had him? Oh, my God. How about if we had him?
You do. You have Stephen Miller. You have Pete Hegseth. You have that creepy-ass dude with the, what is his name? Who's that guy with the, parts his hair? He's like jet black hair. He parts it. And he talks like a Phil bro. You literally, you literally have the Nazis. The Nazis vote for you. You half the people in this room have probably been accused of sexual assault. You had Matt Gaetz, who was having sex and paying for sex with underage girls. You have Donald Trump, credibly accused of sexual assault many times, civilly liable of sexual assault. You guys are full of these people. You endorsed Roy Moore, who's a pedophile. You have Jim Jordan, who covered up sex crimes. Who else? Give me names. I mean, this is your entire fucking party. Your spiritual advisor, the guy that was like, this guy loves you. He's in jail right now for being a pedophile. What do you mean? Can you imagine if Republicans did? This is the Republican Party. What was that guy's name that ran? Matt Schlapp that ran CPAC. I mean, this is you. If these things are true about Graham Plattner, he should have ran as a Republican. He wouldn't even have to have a platform. Just be like, oh, you abuse people? You got accused of abusing people? Front of the line. That's what we do. We take the abusers and we prop them up and say, prove it.
John, so what'll let happen? I really believe it. If it meant losing the Senate, you would not let that happen. Correct. It's just a terrible thing. I mean, I watch it happening. It's unfolding. It's
If it meant losing the Senate, wait, now I'm confused because the Republicans have the Senate. Graham Plattner is going to beat Susan Collins. That's the Democrats winning. Or is he saying that even if it meant losing the Senate, are we playing morality? Are the Republicans pretending that they have morals now?
It's really history because there's never been a guy like that that's ever run for office at any level. I don't think at any level.
Oh yeah, Madison Cawthorn, thank you.
And the excuses, they come up every day. Somebody comes forward with really proven stuff. Even his business, he's not a businessman at all. His parents supported him. Guy's a loser.
Who's he talking about now? Graham Plattner, the veteran? Yeah, that does seem like he's talking about himself, right? Nepo baby here. My dad gave me $300 million. Graham Plattner served in the military, and then he has openly said that the only reason he's able to be a fisherman is because he has benefits from his service in the military, and I think he might get some sort of, because he had PTSD, I think he has some sort of medical pay as well. Are we still pretending he's saying, guys? This is crazy. I know we're almost out of time. Want to say real quick, Dana said Trump inquired about shooting protesters in his first term, according to Mark Esper, former Pentagon chief. Yeah, and so the other guy, didn't Milley say the same thing, that he asked Milley if they could just shoot him in the leg? Multiple people did that. I'm being kind. All that's left of MAGAs, Nazis, pedos, white supremacists, and incels. I will say that the support for MAGA is way down. The people in my life that were MAGA are not. Like, I never thought my parents would turn on Trump. They turned on Trump. And they're still, unfortunately, Republican, but they've turned on Trump. So, and then we'll play one last one. We've almost wiped out that gift goal. If you guys want to help us knock out the rest of that gift goal, great. If not, also great. We'll play one more video, then we'll get out of here. And I've got some great stuff tomorrow that I didn't get to today. We're going to talk about some new reports tomorrow from the Election Truth Alliance. And I think there's some really compelling stuff coming out of the Election Truth Alliance. I do think I think there's a chance we're going to get some lawsuits filed and some investigations before the midterms. But I just wanted to show this because this is all sorts of cope. And Jesse Waters, let's just end on this. Jesse Waters is an idiot, and he's really struggling to come up with compelling arguments at this point. And I just like watching him because everything he says is contrived and stupid. And this is just going to be me being petty to sign off.
Greg said he's like, the Democrats have meth mouth, and they're okay with it. They look in the mirror, no teeth, it's fine. You got to do what you got to do. I've spent
Perv over principle. Again, Graham Plattner is accused of cheating on his spouse, which Donald Trump did. You would never see that about Donald Trump. He's accused of making women uncomfortable, which hundreds of complaints from Donald Trump there. He's not, I don't believe, has anybody accused him of sexual assault? I don't think there's any accusation of sexual assault, right? If there is, I apologize. I should probably know that. Can you guys tell me? Is there even an accusation of that? Thank you, Nin, for... Susan Collins was the other woman in a marriage with a man whose wife was dying of cancer. I didn't know that. Okay, none? Okay, that's what I thought.
years living in Maine, and Plattner is a vibe. I understand why he's connecting. This guy's voice sounds like a pickup truck driving over gravel. This guy wears LL Bean, jeans. He looks like he drinks a lot and spends a lot of time on a dock. He's
yeah, just talk down to people in Maine. Tell them that the only reason they like him is because of what he wears, not because of his message. Keep doing that, Jesse. That's going to work. Just tell Mainers that they're stupid rednecks. That's good messaging for him.
Got tattoos. He's a Marine. He's a Bernie bro from next door in Vermont. He's kind of got Oliver Anthony energy, like he hates the rich men. So he's a liar. And he's kind of a fraud, but he's getting away with it because Maine is a...
What's he a liar about? Where's the fraud? This is empty. This is desperate. There's plenty of things you could criticize Graham Plattner for. Make the real criticism. People could call him a thug, call him a fraudster, saying his parents or who made it so that he could do this. You got to be better than that, Fox. Did you get rid of your whole research team?
Poor white New England.
Who's Anthony Oliver? He's the Rich Men North of Richmond song. I've been selling my soul, working all day. What is that for? Bullshit hours, bullshit pay. That guy. He does kind of look like him. That's actually a pretty good comparison.
England state. Fuel costs are really high. They don't eat well there. Their health care costs are really high. When I go there,
Mainers don't eat well? What is he talking about?
I don't eat well. So he's tapped into it and just...
They don't even have any Michelin star restaurants in Maine where I go.
Bro, they got fresh lobster.
Tapping into it is enough to get elected these days. The Republicans just can't...
As he looks at his Rolex. This is perfect.
Is enough to get elected these days. The Republicans just can't sensationalize them. I agree with Dana. Remember when we Me Too'd Bill Clinton? What'd that do? They tried to Me Too Trump. What'd that do? You can't say, oh, he's a racist, he's a Nazi. I mean, look what that's done to Donald Trump.
This is a real good look into the mind of MAGA. We don't talk about sexual assault because we know that if you talk about sexual assault, they just demonize the women. He's also pointing out all the people who have been Me Too'd, including the president. Again, Plattner's not even being Me Too'd. They say like it's consensual sex outside of his marriage. That's not even Me Too'd. That's just he was getting it. And if that's disqualifying for you, that's fine. Like everybody gets to have their own standards. But there's a big difference between sexual assault and cheating. One of them is a violent act. One of them is a betrayal of your relationship.
He's been elected twice. Yes, the guy is an ogre. He's a degenerate. He looks like he lives under a bridge.
A degenerate? Why is he a degenerate now? What? This is crazy. This is tough. If I was Graham Plattner, I would just turn this into a commercial. Just at the end, I approve of this message. Go for it.
But I don't think that's going to cut it because the Democrats will rally around someone like that. If everyone's throwing this at him and he's lying and he's kind of getting through it, they're going to say, hey, maybe this guy's got something cooking. The Republicans have to hit him on policy. He's going to raise taxes.
You know why the Republicans aren't hitting him on policy? Because his policy's too popular and they can't. Republicans can't go. The same reason they can't hit anybody on policy right now. Same reason none of you ever hit AOC on policy. Because if Republicans go out there and start going, he's pushing for single-payer health care, people will be like, oh, sounds good. He says that rich people should pay their fair share and that workers should be paid a living wage. Yeah, that sounds good. They can't hit him on policy. That's why they're doing it this way. The policy discussion's over. You've lost that discussion. It's social wars now.
He's going to abolish ICE.
Mute Mondo Para. Mondo Para, you've used the same joke followed by the popcorn and laughing emoji twice. You're not laughing. You're a miserable cunt. And you can fuck off. Mute Mondo Para for 24 hours.
Green New Deal. He has absolutely no common sense solutions for Maine. In fact, if he gets in there and Collins is out, he can't bring home the bacon. That when the Republicans control the Senate, they'll throw Susan stuff. When the Democrats control it, they'll throw Susan pork. If this guy gets in there, he's cut off because he's a Bernie guy, and the Republicans think he's nuts.
Jesse now saying, Maine, vote for Susan Collins for handouts. See, we are now Fox is like, you need to vote for Susan Collins to get your handouts. This fealty to Donald Trump. There's no principles on the right. They're gone. You don't have any principles. Cunt is a bad word. I know. I'm sorry for saying that. I don't like Mondo Para very much. I apologize. That was probably abrasive for a lot of you. And I apologize to all of you. Not Mondo Para. He deserved that, but I should have said that privately. I hope you guys forgive me.
So.
All right. Stacy said, Jesse is dumb and pompous. Terrible combination. It's a deadly combination. Greg said, F a bunch of MAGA. I meant, hey, MAGA. Leanne said, Trump said, and ladies love the Graham stash too. Trump's just trying to get a mustache ride. Ben said, can Sleepy Joe be president again? We miss him. Thank you, Stacy and Nin, for the super chats. Patrick said, Dollar Train. Sorry, I can't do more. Brother, that's appreciated, Patrick. Denise said, for singing and all you do. That's nice. I don't get paid for singing very often. Maybe ever. I think that might be the first time ever. Check. Dana said, fuck, just take it. Thanks, Dana. Thanks, guys, for wiping out that gift goal. I appreciate it. Sane said, because I can, and you're both worth it. Thank you, Shane and Dana, for the $40 and $45 over on PayPal. And Dana said, Trump inquired about shooting. Oh, I'd got that one already. All right. That's it. Jen, did I miss anything?
Gregory sent a super chat. F a bunch of MAGA.
I read that.
I meant hey MAGA. Okay, I didn't hear that. Yep, that's it.
All right. Do you have any announcements about your dating life for the rest of the day?
No.
Okay. Well, I hope if you have a date that it goes really, really well.
Okay.
Hey, Jen.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Love you. Oh, she probably didn't. I think she just didn't hear it. Okay, everybody. We'll see you. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning, every weekday morning, 9:30 a.m. to 1 Pacific Standard Time, right here, either on Twitch or YouTube. And next week we'll be back on TikTok, so we'll see you there next week. As a reminder, the replays of the show are available on YouTube, Twitch, and Spotify. So if you want to watch it or listen as a podcast, you can do it on Spotify. Share this with your friends and family if you think they'd enjoy it. I'd appreciate that. If you're not already subscribed, will you double check and make sure that if you're on YouTube or Twitch that you're either following or subscribing so that when we go live, you get those notifications. If you'd like to support us as a paid member, those are available on TikTok, YouTube, and Twitch starting at $5. That gives you access to all the emojis. On Twitch, it means you don't have to watch commercials. And it also gives you access to our members-only events, which are every other Wednesday night. Loved seeing all you guys there last night at our members-only events when we watched Snowden. We'll give you an announcement in a couple weeks on our next one. Until I see you guys tomorrow, I hope you take care of yourself. Go outside and touch grass. If you can't touch grass, smoke grass. Or touch grass while smoking grass. That's my personal favorite. If you can't do either of those, best of luck to you. I hope you find a suitable hobby. If you walk past a mirror, maybe stop, look in that mirror, say something nice about yourself. And if you see somebody that you love, say something nice about them. Be kind. Go ahead and reach down, put on your boots, pull yourself up by those bootstraps, and then put those boots on the ground. And before you go outside and put your boots on the ground, drink water and say one more nice thing about yourself. And until I see you tomorrow morning bright and early, stay cute and cool, and have a great summer.